we're live. Welcome in, folks, to the CNL Playoffs Day number 2 here. My name's Travi. Joining me is Puffo. Puffo, good morning. Welcome on in to the CNL. It's been a pleasure to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing great myself. I'm hoping you're doing well. Many of you might be able to distinguish that Travi sounds like a smoker coming raw out of the bed, but you know what? It's fine. We're here for CNL. We're here for some good action, and it's the playoffs, Travi, which I think we're all excited for.
It is the playoffs, and yesterday's playoffs really kicked off to what was quite an exciting day, right? We had that starting game, which was 2-1. It was really fun. Wolves and All Gamers there, but All Gamers made it into the upper semi-final. One kind for Angry Men. That one was a pretty quick 2-0. And then our upper semi-final, and while it was the 2-0, it was actually quite a close and competitive game. 4 Angry Men did a really good job of keeping that one nice and close. And then we looked at today, Puffo, and I think the bracket just gets more exciting here on out.
Yeah, because today we're going to be starting off with a best of 3 between KingZero Esports and TYLOO. Now, but these two teams good on their group standings. You have KingZero right now, who came out of Group A being number 2, and then TYLOO number 3. So, again, really strong teams, and from them both we've also seen quite the dominant performances. So, I think this is a really good, this might be one of the better playoff beginnings that we have for the entirety of today. But again, we still have plenty of matches later on.
Yeah, we certainly do. My Queen versus EDG coming up later on today as well. That's going to be a good one. And then, of course, our final game of the day. Don't miss that one. That's our major qualification game, so you really do not want to miss that. As for our first game of the day, though, I'm right with you, Bob. I think this is going to be the best one of our sort of earlier games here in the playoffs. KingZero going up against TYLOO here. You can see the KingZero guys, a really, really great roster, right? We've got some really experienced players on there. You've got Momo, Sunset, Fiber, some players that have been putting up some insane numbers so far in the group stage, and they're hoping to kick off their playoffs run with a massive win here.
Yeah, again, we do believe Momo, Sunset, and KCB incoming from a previous Daystar roster as well. These are players with experience and have stuck together for quite a while. Fiverr and Leon, maybe a bit more of new entries, but there's still a reason they're in there. They're still performing quite well, and this is going to be your KingZero Esports, probably one of the teams I would proclaim to be coming out of these playoffs successfully. As for TYLOO, Hoi, Aruki, Sangla, Abe, and Like, again, these players as well, they've been climbing the boards, they've been doing just about as well, and we can see it on players such as Sangla, such as Aruki, and such as Like on triple digits when it comes down to their overall score.
Indeed. There's some really, really nice ones here on the side of this team as we head down to the stage now just to see where exactly things are going to be going here with the players. It's starting to be up and shaping to be a really, really exciting day here. I'm looking forward to seeing what these two teams have to offer. I think in terms of predictions for this match, I've got to be backing KingZero all the way through it, if I'm being honest with you, Bob. Looking forward to seeing what they have to offer us. They have a lot of dominant victories back in towards the group stage, so heading on here in towards playoffs, I think a quick clean 2-0 would be a good way to start the day. You don't want to show too much, right? Because you're now in best of 3s. You're going to be forced to show your hands a little bit more, and we're going to be more to see some, we're probably going to see some more Nighthaven laps.
Yeah, I think we can expect some Nighthaven labs, something quite the usual.
A little bit of labs.
Nighthaven labs, I mean, there's been a lot of labs, let's be honest. And the thing with playoffs right now is that it is double elimination. So you lose
you're
once,
kidding me.
You're out. But we are not going to be having labs for a better continuation. We have Fortress, Consulate, and Bank Fortress as map 1, Travi.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. I love that. Fortress on map number 1 of the best of 3. Best way to kick off a morning here. And funny enough, Bob, we were doing some stats yesterday, and I was looking through all the numbers and the stats. 3 maps in the CNL were not played in group stages. Fortress was one of them. It never got touched in the groups. Got brought out once yesterday, brought out again here today by TYLOO. Really curious to see what they've been cooking up on it, because yesterday was an absolute heater in the final game of the day, and it better be the same here today.
Oh yeah, 100%. Again, we've also seen KingZero ourselves on the first day of the English coverage here when we actually went into their match. And again, like you said, dominant performance. They're a solid team. They show they have the experience. And now up against TYLOO, one of the stronger teams going into the group stages, one of the more terrifying beginners. I mean, they started off day 1 or 2 at the top of the charts, which I think KingZero, they're going to be a good matchup for them. But we're going towards Fortress, a map that has not yet been figured out. Now, again, there's constantly maps that evolve, but Fortress, it's a new day, okay? That's the type of map we're going for right now, and I'm loving to see how these two teams are going to show, I would say, their own way of interpreting the map.
They are, and then we move on towards our second pick in the veto there, right? You've got that consulate, that lovely sort of maze of rooms and clearing and defender-sidedness and all that chaos that comes with that one. I think KingZero, the way they play that kind of explosive play style, they love to bring. It's going to be right at home here on cons. Really looking forward to that one. For me, the curiosity is in the last couple bans there. Border ban, Nighthaven, Labs ban. Border is on a map that I'm honestly surprised we've not seen more of in the CNL. With the way this region is so aggressive, with the way this region plays, I genuinely think Border really leans itself to the way CNL plays, but yesterday we had a Border game, and I can't lie, Bob, it was not the greatest Border I've ever seen in my life. It was a bit messy, to say the least. Yeah, it was really, yeah, it wasn't the greatest. So I was really surprised to see that not really working out there, because all gamers opted to bring it, and you're thinking, right, they're bringing Border. It's something that I think will benefit their play style. All gamers are a really good team. It's going to go great for them, and then it just goes to absolute toot. It's crazy. And then, of course, we get rid of Labs as well there. KingZero wanted to get rid of Nighthaven Labs. That's unheard of. The first game in playoffs where we've not actually seen Labs.
That's crazy, but hey, we're making history over here towards CNL. The first time for China, and already some interesting map bans. A lot more interesting than in any other region. I'll at least tell you that. You know, Fortress isn't very common at the very least, but it's something interesting to look at. And of course, right now we are going to be at the very start of playoffs. So again, teams, like you said, still don't really want to put everything they have to show on the table. They can be a bit savory. Again, save their ultimate strats, their trump cards for the later beginning, or for the later continuation towards those semi-quarter and grand finals if they need be. But in general, I mean, we're taking a look at KingZero, right, going in as what I would say a bit more of a fan favorite team. Again, it is mostly because of the background they have with Daystar, the background they have with these players. They're great. Again, Sensat, KCP, Momo Wings, we all recognize them mostly just... Travi.
Sorry, we have an Australian producer in our ears, and I'm sure you can imagine what comes out of his mouth when the feed starts going, and it's very hard to focus and keep a conversation when you've just got someone speaking Australian in your ears. Do you want to continue your point, Bob?
I don't think I do.
Did I tell you about my... You know this banana bread we were talking about earlier? We're going to talk about banana bread for a second now.
Yesterday I was laying in bed, just for context, people. I was laying in bed yesterday, dying from a muscle tear, and I just checked the chat here, and all I see is muscle bread and some memes about log cabin. I thought I was laced.
You might have. Yesterday was a wild day. I'm not going to explain the origins of log cabin. I'm just going to hope it pops up again. I don't think it will in this series, but if we certainly do see our favourite map, log cabin, you will see what we mean when it as and when it does come up. But the other thing as well is, like, you know, this game going into it, this is where the pressure kicks in, right, Bob? This is where the pressure's really going to start to ramp up for these guys, because you've got this one best of 3 now, and then you're going to have the winner of this one will play a second best of 3 this afternoon, a bit later on, and that's a major qualification game. It's 2 very high stake best of 3s in the day, and I'm very curious to see how these guys stand up to the pressure, because yesterday the pressure certainly you could feel is getting to some of the teams, because it's the first time they're playing with it.
Well, again, we've already talked about it going, oh my goodness, there it is, the banana bread by Travi. It is well baked. You can see like the sweetness of it. It is shining off that banana bread. It looks top tier quality. I haven't seen banana bread. I haven't eaten banana bread, but if I wanted to eat any banana bread, it would be that one. No, I haven't.
Remind me to bring banana bread to the next LAN.
Yes, please do.
Remind me to bring some banana bread to the next LAN. This thing was amazing. Like, this loaf was, I ate about half of that yesterday, probably. Yeah. Thereabouts. It's just like, I made the mistake of leaving the knife on the plate. So it's in the fridge, and I just leave the knife on the plate. So every time I'm downstairs, it's like, it comes up off a sliver. And then over the course of a day, I've just devoured a half a loaf of banana bread. But it's so good.
Like
banana bread is good. There's Tiaki enjoying some oak. Are you familiar with oak, Bob?
I don't think I want to be.
What about some Siege? Do you want to be familiar with some Siege? Fortress coming up now, our first playoffs game of the day. KingZero Esports going up against TYLOO. 65% Bob seemed to back KingZero in this one. You said they were the favourites, but is that going to transition into the server or not? We're going to have to find out. It's Fortress. Let's get into playoffs, shall we?
Let's shall? Is that a good way to interpret it? There we go. Let's shall. Let's shall. Fortress, a new territory for both these teams and ourselves. TYLOO facing KingZero, as KingZero starting on the defense. Our first wave of bans incoming, and it will be drum roll, Ying and Kid. I don't think it's too much of a surprise. I think this is going to also kind of go in towards the direction of ranked, where teams like picking the upper two sides first and then heading downstairs if need be. Ying and Kid, though, I think the Ying kind of post-plant utility-heavy operators have certainly been the more dominant ones inside this map. The Capitals, the Grims, the Senses, the Yings, because you have a lot of gateways to enter the site and keep yourself covered. You just need those small gaps in between covers and entries to be covered, and well, that's what the Sens, Ying, Glass, are for.
Chaos is basically what I'm anticipating out of this matchup. You can already see it there. TYLOO straight on towards the blitz, like wanting to give us a ready and go for it, and it'll be a fun one. And like you say, on the defense, on this flip side, you're going to start to see a lot of trap lineups. You're going to see a lot of these operators where they're just all about slowing down the spurts of aggression that we get here in the CNL. Everyone kind of plays a very similar style, so these teams are quite familiar with how to deal with it, what to do. As for our start, though, we're going off the bathroom commander's office, and it is the best site on the map by a long shot.
Yeah, no denying that. I'm going to put down. Just check out the operator lineups as well when coming from KingZero as of the moment. I mean, we see the Thorn, which recently with her buff has been a terrifying, and I mean a terrifying addition to Rainbow Six Siege. But overall, it's a very default lineup where you bring everything to kind of make sure anything that the attackers do have on board it is well checked. The Warden for any smokes, you have the Melusi for slowdown and to prevent rushes, and then of course the Goya for the post plant.
Heading towards round number one now. See exactly what these teams are going to be offering us. This attack still decided to circle around that shield line up there. You've got the Blackbeard available there just to keep things going along the notions. Flora's going to get through now, take out those barbed wire on the staircase. It's just all about keeping the pressure up on these defenders, making sure they can't get comfortable in these power positions, because if they get comfortable, if they get complacent, they're very hard to dislodge from it. That's where the double shields come in. You can really, there's nothing like being able to force a player out of position with a double shield lineup, and I'm sure you've been on the receiving end of it in a ranked game, Bob. It's not fun.
Oh, it certainly isn't fun. Shields in general have been kind of a menace to society inside of the field as of the moment, and to bring two by the side of TYLOO is certainly going to be quite the large call, but you're going to have to see them in action first, because you're also sacrificing a lot of fragmentative ability, because the shields, yes, they can clear fast, yes, they can push areas, but they can't hold guns while doing it, and that makes them, their team, a bit weaker.
Does. C4 gonna be popped on out there by the Warden, not able to collect any picks just yet, but instead it's from behind. It's gonna be the Blackbeard getting the first pick. Io getting one of the game, but it's Smoke somehow staying alive, gets the down on towards one, but eventually will be shut on down there. 2v2 situation effectively here, unless the Blitz pops the Vulcan canister there, gives him the opportunity to revive the teammate.
3v2, almost down to an equalization. Blitz taking heavy damage, like just has to retreat for now. Utility still standing low by KingZero. They do have this site to hold down, and bad timing there to look away. Seems like Momo's going to be low on as well, and there's plenty of time for TYLOO to work around. They can just drone things out, get themselves prepped up, as they still have plenty of utility themselves with those flashes and smokes.
Sunset crosses over from the tower there in towards the bomb site. As the fuse is going down courtesy of Light here, swinging on up, getting aggressive. Sunset will be able to find it and deny the defuse going down. Fishing for a second, claims it, but will be shut back on down. It's a 1v1 now, direct with Momo Wings, but you've got to be careful, Puffo, because the HP on this Melusi, it's on a sliver.
Time's ticking now against the defenders. Gonna have to make a move if you're the Melusi. Again, Momo low on HP already from that previous initiation. No information on where the last one here stands. Have to make a couple of guesses. Shots are gonna reveal your location. You also see the drones are placed all around this upper floor, so wherever you step, the Ace is probably gonna gain the information on where you are. Those bullets as well. It's just the sound cues here, which might be deliberately bringing about the end of this Melusi. Looking in the wrong direction. The swing is there, and it's gonna be the first opening round for TYLOO.
fired up from it as well there. It's good to see from TYLOO nice and early on getting themselves on the board. A close round, albeit I don't think they'll be too disheartened with losing that one there on the flip side of KingZero. But as for TYLOO, though, really good clear from them, really quick. And sure, it got chaotic, it got a bit scrappy, but job's done. You're happy. You've got a round on the board here. And considering Fortress does typically lie to the defenders, it's a great way to start the series.
This extension was brutal. A real good attempt by Leon, but by the end, again, it was just overwhelmed by numbers. Sunset tried to keep it together, got themselves two, but in the end, again, the Melusi was just in an unfortunate. TYLOO played it well, but it was a big back and forth here, which on Fortress, considering the way the beginning went here by TYLOO's favor, ended off in quite the rivalrous match.
And this one is going to hopefully be, I've got a feeling if there's going to be any game today that goes to 3 maps and is like a banger, this is going to be a banger game. These two teams, you know, they're second and third in their respective groups, they're nice and close, and it's very much two teams that I think are on the verge of that top 4 conversation who qualifies to Salt Lake City. So they've both got quite a lot to prove inside of this game here, and we now head obviously back over towards Dorms. We're not going to be repeating the site of Commanders, we're going to be going over to the other side of the map now, seeing what they've got to offer us. Off the shield stove for TYLOO, instead of bringing around the Deimos, it's going to be more about the roam clear this time.
Like in the counter picks as well. You bring around the Izami from KingZero, there's going to be an instant counter for it, just like the Goyo. Drones on the attacking side here. There's going to be something to incorporate. Floors and Twitch both. Good to clear utility, but of course you still have to get to that utility, which is most likely placed around site. Although we do see somewhat of an extension here. The Fenrir F-Nats to push yourself up alongside the game's corridor, get yourself deeper around the map, and make the roam clear as difficult and long as possible.
That's exactly why the attacker bringing along this Deimos here. Songler got a really tall task ahead of him, trying to clear out all of this roam. It operates with a lot of players in quite deep entrenched positions far throughout the map here. And as you can see, in this initial minute, TYLOO's progress is slow. They're not able to make as much as they'd like. Isolate the player off in the tower there, cut off the staircase, pop the reinforcement. Songler's got to charge on through anyway, but it's a mistake. Straight in towards Fiber, he will fall. And it's a freebie given over to the defense.
That's that roam clearage operator that had so much on his shoulders to burden, now gone, and how do you player down here? TYLOO not only wasting time, but players and utility alike. KingZero, all is going according to plan right now. They just nicely set up a big trap for these attackers to step into, and well, they've been doing just exactly that. What a pre-fire by Momo, though, to take out another, as if it hasn't gotten bad for TYLOO already.
Now, TYLOO really up against it. 2-man deficit here, 80 seconds to try and bring this round back. First and foremost, it's going to be about finding some equalising picks here, but I don't think KingZero are going to want to give them anything. You can see it. They've done their job on this extension. They don't need to play as far out anymore. They can fall a little bit closer to site, an opportunity where they can hold some crosses, trade each other out, just due to increased concentration of players towards the bomb site, and they can sit quite comfortably now for what's going to be the final couple seconds of the round here. Unless they give something silly away, this should be an easy closeout for them. It's all on TYLOO to try and find a way to slowly peel back the layers.
Close to the distance, KingZero still playing it safe, close to their angles with those shotguns, and again, not really needing to extend out. Not any pressure though, there is going to be some information relayed. You know where the smoke is laying, but aren't going to push into him alone. Doesn't seem like TYLOO are playing together right now. They're just kind of at a standstill, sitting ducks, not having much progress be made, holding angles on the attack while time is running against you. You know KingZero isn't going to swing into you. Currently, they're around behind and they don't want to lose any extra. So making that entry as the attacker is going to be your last run for the hills. Flashes the nades as well. It's going to be Firebird to pick up the opening in this initiation, but sadly, it's all left down on Hoy here. Able to pick one, but the second will fall, and just like that, we have ourselves an early equalization.
A rough start to the round there for TYLOO transpires into an execute that just doesn't really ever get its ground going off the feet going off the ground, really. There inside of that one, it's just an unfortunate round for TYLOO there. You lose those players on the initial entry in towards the top floor, towards the sort of commander's side. You can't make that horizontal clear across as easily. Things are very difficult for you. Things are unfortunate. And it gives KingZero a round back the other direction. They're able to get it now. Not going up, we're going back down towards the bottom floor site here, and it's going to make things really interesting, this one, because this is statistically like the worst site on the map by Hamat Bar Hammam, but no one plays Hammam. So of the three that get played, this is going to be your tertiary, this is going to be your least preferred one. Whether KingZero can bring this back before we go through to the next quarter and presumably go back up, we will see. I mean, you can see it, TYLOO, they're expecting a top floor, and it's like, oh no, they're playing bottom floor, so we're going to be going down. We're going to have to completely re-pick our lineup, really utilising that feature to redo themselves.
This bottom floor is so tedious to play against, mostly because the entry into bathroom, into the main hallway, gives you such a large amount of angles to cover already. Now, yes, the defenders could utilize this, expand out stretch out thin throughout the map to make sure they have a lot covered and make the attackers really have to guess where everyone's position is. But at the same time, stretching out as thin could allow a bit of a gap in your defense, so of course the attackers can end up rushing it. So this bottom floor is just a large hassle. So many entries, then you have the verticality on top of that. Normally, if verticality is so heavy on a side, that ends up being the only element the attackers need to push, but there's just so much more availabilities right now, and TYLOO seem to be taking it for granted. I mean, they have the Solid Snake for clearage, they have the Habana going upstairs with the Sledge most probably, and Solid Snake to clear it out.
Snake's I love the Snake addition here on towards this attack. He's just going to hopefully pick up the pace a little bit for TYLOO, like you say, Buffo, just going that little bit faster, being able to quickly decide, oh, yep, this bit's clear, we can go fast it. Brilliant use there, and then if you spot someone, you send in the blitz and give them a really unfavourable 1v1 situation. As for now, second floor is going to be cleared out by the attacking team here. You do have to be careful, though. Players with C4s underneath, ready, primed, and raring to go. But being spotted out by the Solid Snake Warden here, Leon's going to think a little bit better of it. C4 goes up. Unfortunately misses its mark there, but still, resource burn early on here. Good start to TYLOO.
Not much damage taken. This is contrary to the previous round where KingZero played it a bit aggressive, or rather TYLOO gave them the opportunity to play aggressive. Not so much from the attack now, just going to play by the book, open up those verticals and keep themselves grounded. While though KingZero, they're bunkered into this side and it's not looking comfortable, I'll be completely honest, having to force a couple of gunfights by trying to attack hatch. I mean, right now, Momo, this is a long shot of an angle you're trying to go for. The drone drops on down. That's information gathered. Now TYLOO, no, they can't just willy-nilly drop into this hatch, but hey, they still have plenty of entries, like we've said.
A lot of options here in how to get down towards this one. Final 60 seconds, all 10 players still standing. 3 toxic babes as well in the pocket of Momo, and he's going to be crucial for this late round here. Stalling out the hatches, ensuring that things are going to be very difficult for TYLOO. Their options are limited in where they're pushing towards the objective, but ultimately from there, it's going to make it a very hard execute for them to try and sell. Skeleton saying that, going to pick out a few more defenders, but ultimately here, TYLOO, they're getting all this information, dumping all this utility. Now I need to see something come of it. The Snake pushing up will be punished there from the back by Sunset. 5v4 situation as KingZero find their first. Warden holding on to the shield, spots the blitz, charging on in. He's getting the fuse down. Can someone find an angle to stop him? The team's crumbling around him. You run directly past him. KCB just knifing in the dark, knifing in the smoke. Will eventually find it, but it's a little too late there. Diffuser has hit the ground. 2v2 situation now. TYLOO could just peel on back and play this closed.
Bloodbath, now like above. An Angel of Death. You also have the Capital on horizontal ground, and the final 2 KingZero players are going to need to make a bit of a Hail Mary to say the very least, but the diffuser is perfectly planted as where the Sledge has such a good angle over it. It's all down if they can try and contest the single attacker. One falls thanks to Like, and then it's all down to the Izami trying to challenge him right above. Will it go successfully? Yes, but time is running out, and I think this is the round done and dusted.
It is indeed. No more time, no more hope. But unfortunate there for KZB. You think you knife a different angle 2 seconds earlier. You stop the blitz getting the plant down. It was like within, what, half a second, I think, of when he was able to knife that blitz in the middle of the smoke. So just absolute chaos and calamity inside of that round there. And I've got a feeling that one will hurt a little bit more for KingZero there, because that one should have been winnable. They should have won that round in my books. But some really good initiative there from TYLOO to be able to get that plant down inside of that end round chaos and walk away with a victory and a lead here on Fortress.
I like how restrained both these teams were. It did take about until the very end of that, or beginning of the execution of the attackers, for any blood to be really shed. That's where it kind of went all hands down, but up until then, it was a lot of silence. It was quite quiet, and we see our third wave of bans now incoming. The Miragon isn't too much of a surprise, but without the blitz now, that's gonna shut down a bit of the aggressive factor from the attackers. They can still swap out a shield for a shield, considering there's 3 that are still quite solid, and Monty, oh, he's gonna be your second best on this map.
Gotta love a Monty. We love a big old Monty, big man with a shield.
Who is we?
Me is me. Have you not seen the Monty skin?
Which Monty?
The
The
Ubu,
one with the butterfly?
No, the Ubu Onslaught, the one with the giant anime on it.
Oh, hell no. Get out of here. Take a walk, Travi.
I'm not allowed.
Take a walk.
I've been told I have to cast, so I'm not allowed to go anywhere. You're stuck with me. For at least an hour or so.
Let's agree at least then that we both like the butterfly one. You know, the one from Rainbow
Butterfly
Magic?
one, the butterfly one is cool. There was a little, and it was like got like the physics animated headband on it as well. Like it bobbles. It's great. Kaid also has a similar one where he's got like a star sticking out of a headband. That's a really good one as well. I do like that one. That's cute.
That is pretty cute. I'm quite sad that we didn't get Rainbow's Magic for this year.
I don't know. And I'm also really sad those skins aren't allowed in Pro League.
Oh,
Like
that would be scary.
they are not competitive skins. I think they should be allowed in Pro League as like an exception to the rule. I've seen, and this is the other thing as well. I don't know if we have gun skins in this build. I've not seen any. I've seen player skins. I've seen some like team skins. Like I saw a Monty skin yesterday, like the actual uniform and headgear, but I've not seen any weapon skins.
I think it's just disabled. I mean, it is a bit of a specific build, so I wouldn't be too surprised. A couple of shots, Viper takes heavy damage, trying to peek those head holes around the main breach on Dorms, and Abby's going to take the chance to slide on that exothermic, go on his drone and gather information so the attackers can push forward. And this is a successful one. KingZero really aren't tempted to challenge this. They're kind of just backing off and giving them the space.
Yeah, really easily just falling back right now, KingZero. Not really having the bark or the bite we saw in the previous round here. TYLOO more than happy to take advantage here. A much better paced attack here in towards round number 4, and a lot of that as well, I'd argue, here is off to the Montaigne. He can just walk forward like you say, Bob. They literally just, yep, okay, have the space by. We don't want to even bother with that.
Means Abby's also going to be able to advance towards the actual main breach on towards Bathroom. So the Monty here should be having himself an easy plant if those smokes can go down. But again, KingZero prepared for it. We have a C4 and a Warden both in one kit. It's just down to how TYLOO approach this. I mean, they have this very one-sided pressure right now from the main breach itself, but this is that standstill we saw in the previous round where they almost lost it. That's going to be a counter-attack. We do see the smoke babe starting to pop. The Goyo canister does seem like it's still standing, an aid there to counter it, but I'm slowly going to get wasted, and TYLOO, once the execution comes around, it's going to have to be perfect.
It will. You're gonna have, if you're pushing on this little time, you're gonna have to make no mistakes in your execution there, because things can suddenly get very dicey. Flashbang goes in towards site, Sunset peels on back, Toxic Babe stalled out, 30 seconds to go here, in cuff to Death Marker, surely Puffo, the execute has to follow.
I do wonder here, Leon, he's getting spotted by all sorts of gadget. Still has a babe in his pocket. Gonna throw the last one as a resort nade his way. He's gonna be able to bounce it off. Now, keeping some damage away, but the plant is going down. Just in a nook and cranny that surpasses all of it. The C4 was close, but not close enough. Fiber's gonna finish out one of the players, but the plant goes down nonetheless. And now a 5v4 here. 5v3 kills are going in the way of Sunset, who's keeping this game alive, but TYLOO strike back tenfold. And now it's all in the hands of Songo. Can he keep these two defenders away? No, one's too close for comfort, and KZB is going to finish the job.
KingZero back onto the board here, not letting this series get too far away from themselves. 2-2, the scoreline will sit there, finally able to lock down the primary bomb site here on Fortress. And yet again, it's another one of these attacks, Bob. It's the second time we've seen it now where TYLOO, it just gets way too close down to the wire and the clock. They have to push on in. The first time it worked, but the second time, they're just not so lucky, unfortunately. Unable to survive inside of the chaos, keep their heads above the water, and will ultimately pay the price for it. So, we'll likely see the continuation of site rotation. We're going to go to dorms probably right now. Not expecting to see anything too crazy. What I really do want to see at the moment is just going to be a case of we need to see some better pacing from TYLOO. I think that's the biggest thing that right now could really make it an improvement to their attacks. We just need to see them getting into a position, trying to execute, even if it's just 30 seconds on the clock. That's plenty of time to go for it.
I think KingZero as well. By the end stage, it was a very, and I mean very close round when it came down to the execution. I mean, a 2v1 by the bare skin. of KingZero's team, I don't think they should be giving up easy ground as much as they did. I mean, the Monty wasn't even in the side of meeting here, and they already just backed off, which I respect trying to play it safe and sound. I respect not wanting to give up kills, which ultimately did end up leaving the round for them to be won. But still, trying to challenge a couple of drones, trying to actually face check the Monty so he sees you're there and he sees you back up. You know, it still could waste an extra second or two, which by the end stage, those extra seconds could be surgical.
It could be so incredibly important there going into that final little bit of the round, but we need to get there first, and that relies on a successful start here. And you can see KingZero, they're looking to play inside of this one. They're ready for it, meeting this Blackbeard here. Varkey straight outside the building before he even makes his entry. He's saying, yeah, no, we're going to shoot back at you. We're not going to let you really get anything for free. You will take nothing for granted. TYLOO, they're just going to have to respect that, unfortunately. You can't be charging him blindly there. You're going to have to really pay attention to it. And what concerns me, Puffer, is you just caught a glimpse of it there in the far corner of the map. There's a player on a deep roam there, really far away, and they could spring into action and backstab really late into the round.
100%. We're going to look forward towards seeing that. Again, KingZero, they've seen that they've given up too much ground easily, so instead of trying to fight for ground, which might be uncomfortable to their playstyle, we're going to say, how about we retake it? That isn't something quite common, nor is it something we've seen just yet. Lion Scan is out. The Sen's roll is going to make it a perfect entry here for Rocky, but now we need line support. KZB going to find the first one. Abby falls. Hoy follows. That's two gone unofficially. Of course, it's this Blackbeard. How do we clear him of his position? He's the only one keeping the line safe, arguably. And this Smoke Babe could be what takes him to his grave at a corner, taking damage, has to retreat. And oh, just barely standing still in a corner. One more Smoke Babe should be able to do it. Sunset with another one just to bring it from bad to worst. And TYLOO are crumbling, but they still bite back. It's going to be Arky. He's able to pick himself off a single. That is the smoke gone as well. Lion Scan another one just to kind of reset the headspace for both these teams.
If you're going to pick someone to take away from the defense, you're going to want to try and take away that smoke from them here. But Sunset looking to get aggressive now. Outside to the Shisha balcony, will pay the price for it. A second kill follows soon as well here. And TYLOO able to flip the script inside of this round, as it's suddenly a 1 versus 3 situation now for KZB, who just cannot stand up to the might of the attack there, as TYLOO go from nothing to everything in the space of about 15 seconds and get themselves the round and stay ahead on this one.
That is incredible by TYLOO. I mean, by the end stage, they played it perfectly to a dot. The hesitance from KZ and using their utility kind of ended up costing them the round. Use that third Smoke Babe. You know the Blackbeard is low. He's taken so much damage. There's no way he could afford to take any more. And he's cornered as well. So that Smoke Babe not kind of being hesitant to be used ended up costing them essentially, especially because, again, the individual plays by TYLOO ended up paying off greatly. As individuals, we see them. They're great. It's KingZero when they work together that they're best, and sadly, this time around, they did not.
No, they didn't, unfortunately, for themselves. They will pay the price for the round, but ultimately here, coming out of this one with an even split is going to be a requirement, I feel, Bob, right? Fortress, that leans that little bit way defended, but in my opinion, the way it's been playing out so far, so I think KZ will already be a bit upset that they weren't able to pull away the 4-2 split here. And a 3-3, I've got to argue, is kind of the bare minimum I would expect to see from them. Otherwise, going into the second half, 4-2 down on your attack, I'll get a little bit worried. I can't lie. So, really important round for the defense to be able to try and close on out here. And it's this bottom floor bomb site, which for them, if you remember a couple rounds ago when it was played, it was a nail-biter of a round there with the plant just narrowly going down. I'm expecting to see that kind of chaos again.
You could expect the lineup is going to be very similar from the side of TYLOO. They bring the Habana, the Monty to clear, the Sledge to go for verticals, and instead of the Deimos this time around, they're going to try and focus their own clearage around the Dokkaebi herself, which is a lot more of a passive operator. She can just kind of use those calls, and then if anyone's close, they will get affected. If not, it means the space is free to clear. As for the defenders, they bring a C4, but there's not going to be much of a counteract. The Wamai is an interesting choice of an operator to try and counter all of those smokes we saw, presumably, but more than it, I think. No, he doesn't really serve much more than that.
No, he's just chilling. He's just kind of doing his thing as he needs to go and do. Logic Bomb going to come on out, give the attack a lot of space to clear on through this second floor, nice and easy without much difficulty really. Not looking to contest it too much from KZ down below. They're quite happy to forfeit the space up and just give it through to them. So TYLOO, they're certainly in a good position right now in this early run. That Sledge of Light can immediately get to work on towards the vertical. He sent the Montaigne down below. C4 goes, it does a lot of damage, but not quite enough to confirm a pick.
Single bullet like, that's all that's needed, and he will go down, but just before he does, he's making sure all those verticals are established. Again, it is the job of a Sledge to do so. After, his life doesn't have as much importance. Time is running out. KZ right now, they're wasting it a bit better. TYLOO themselves not going as fast and velocity packed as they did last time around. These verticals also being quite awkward, if I am to say so myself. Songo on drones, making sure that back duty is checked and no one goes for a nasty flank, and this time around the execution is slowly going to start flapping.
I'm now in towards hopefully something to come here for the side of TYLOO. Where do they go? How do they play this one? You do have Arky down below playing outside of Laundry here, looking in towards Medbase, in towards the cafeteria. Likes the first one to find a picket around. Shuts down Momo Wings. Danasi yet again the smoke off board early, Buffo. We said it as the operator you probably want to take down out of everyone available here. And that's going to be a nice, easy pick there for TYLOO to start off this one. Now it's just how can they convert it from here, because already I'm starting to get worried they're being too hesitant.
It's going to be down to guns and bullets alone. I mean, Leon has already wasted his C4 as well. There we go, calls them out. That's going to be the logic bomb dropped. Capital bolts as well. The Wamai doesn't seem to be countering. It's going to be down to the Warden now to use his Google lenses, but the Monty has shown himself, and that's going to be the perfect opportunity to shut down the planter. That's going to be the case inside of the site, sitting uncomfortably. Another pre-fire here might be able to do it, but just stuck behind that vending machine, and there's no clue about it. Thankfully, Fiber has the right angle, and time has ran out. KingZero will secure themselves a 3-3 going into the second half.
TYLOO just tried the same thing twice there, and ultimately it's just not going to work out for them. They tried it the previous time, and yeah, it kind of caught out KZ off guard, but the second time around, not going to do so. Heading in towards the halftime break now, a 3-3 even split between these two sides, Puffo. We said this game was going to be a close one. We said this game was going to be a heater, and this first half, it is certainly delivering on that promise.
It certainly is. I am loving the back and forth. You know, some of these rounds have been very passive, and it ends up taking towards the very execution to see everything come down. Although the other rounds, they kind of just go haywire at the very beginning, and it's almost determined in the very first couple of seconds. It's been a huge night and day between these rounds, and that's what I love about Fortress. Again, because it hasn't been fully established like a map like Chalet, Border, Clubhouse, Oregon, there's still a lot of space for these teams to kind of test out the grounds, maybe surprise their enemies by. And now heading into the role swap, I am wondering to see how both these teams are also going to approach it. Will they go for similar lineups and strategies, or do they have an ace up their sleeve?
Questions for this second half, certainly. I mean, this is where you're going to want to start to see TYLOO come out a little bit here of their shell, right, Puffo? This is their map pick after all. They wanted to come to Fortress. Going on towards their defense now is where I expect to see them shine. I'd say they've had a pretty good first half, all things considered. They've got to where they need to be for it. Now, let's get on towards that second half, see these guys absolutely shine, and hopefully for their sake, be able to close out the map nice and comfortably, because line up that consulate next, and that one really could go either way. So being able to bank your own map pick here and early, that is going to help you a lot in this series and possibly qualify to the major this afternoon.
We've got some large maps here on the roster today. I mean, Fortress, Consulate, and Bank as the last one. These are probably one of the largest sets of maps we could have picked out, or rather these two teams could have. And in a best of three, it's interesting because, again, as the last map, we really were thinking that it was going to be Nighthaven. I myself also thought maybe Clubhouse, maybe Chalet, something a bit more common as a decider, because you want to play it safe, you want to go down and prove that your team is better to them than the opponents fundamentally. But either way, we are now returning to Fortress again, still a map to finish before we even think about Consulate, and the second half, it's evened out. But after this round, we're going to have to see who can take the lead.
Who's going to slip ahead here inside of this series? That is the question. Operator bans, a Smoke ban. I mean, Smoke's always played. Like, we're always playing Smoke inside of this league, in every league, but you never actually really see him banned, and it's always like oh my god, they banned Smoke. But it makes a lot of sense. Like, it makes sense. Everyone plays smoke, but it's always like, oh my god, it had smoke. Oh my god,
Smoke! Oh my god, something new! Yeah. It is like that because it's similar to banning out a mute. I mean, the mute is strong. Always good to be used. Can't really go wrong with a mute, but when he's banned, it's kind of like, what are we thinking, people? I mean, we have so many powerhouse operators, and TYLOO are just not holding back. This is, oh my god. Normally, you see kind of operators that go in alignment to try and counter everything. No, TYLOO are straight just sending everything out on the field. They have a Thorn who's been dominating the field inside of Siege, Amira, Fenrir, Azami, which I don't think I need to say why are strong. TYLOO are holding no punches here.
No, they do not care right now. They really want to get this one done and come out on towards this defensive half of a statement here. Go straight up to all of these power operators surviving the banning phase, because it's a bit of a different banning phase. It's not the norm what KingZero have taken off the board, and being able to play all of these kind of traditional power operators, quote unquote, is a great opportunity for TYLOO, and they're more than happy to ride along with things here. KingZero taking advantage of the 6-pick feature, realizing, hey, we might need to make some swaps to this lineup, going on towards the Blitz now, bringing out the Capital, Twitch instead. It's going to be an interesting round to see how this one plays out, and I'm curious to see where they slip the sense into this one.
Take a look at the Azami right now. Angle. Good push-up. Travi, I'm disappointed in what you just wrote in our CNL chat.
You're not.
Trust me, I am. But I had it coming. Either way, though, the Twitch drone gonna go up forth. This specific drone, I was just gonna say on the importance of it, you want to keep the Twitch drones alive because you have so much utility to counter. The Thorns, the Miras, also the Goyos, and the Fenrirs. And, well, sadly, one of the first drones is going to get lost for Momos here, so hopefully the second one gets used a bit more. But as of the moment, you know, KingZero just taking it step by step, clearing the utility because, well, certainly there is a lot.
There's going to be a lot for them to chew through here. Using the RU projectors to cut off the hallway here, and the player on the staircase completely blinds out. Does get brutal murdered by the shotgun there. Arky able to stay alive and continue to hold his position. Knows about the one behind the table, but cautious of a push down from below. Elsewhere, though, this KZ attack is rapidly floundering as support comes into factor. KZB, though, keeping the team alive, keeping it even inside of things. Get control over towards White Stairs construction side now. Can start to try and push across the map. However, it's cost them quite a bit.
Bees are out. Again, both these teams kind of went all out to try and find themselves an entry, either to dominate the others. Oh my god, that is going to be an awkwardly thrown C4 by Hoy. He's going to go for a second run, and maybe it's going to connect onto the anything. A shrapnel amount of damage, but it's Momo who makes a true effort here and finds Abe. That's one player down by TYLOO. And the aggression here by Hoy is certainly going to be commendable at the very least. Gonna go for the swing here, challenge out main stairs, just put a bit of pressure here on these two attackers who are stuck in a bit of a cubby, while Momo in the meanwhile, that Twitch drone clearing out utility, throws the smoke and now pushes forward. We have ourselves a good amount of coverage, but the swing here is going to get right into Momo, finds another, and the last one just right in their crosshair.
Good old Momo. Always trust Momo to pull back those kind of situations there. Really great round, and honestly, one that's really kept KingZero inside of it, because there was a moment there, Puffo, I was like, uh-oh, TYLOO was starting to run away with it, but they just get a bit over-aggressive, get a little bit silly, and swing maybe a bit too much when they don't really need to be giving themselves away here. Need to remember, they're on the flip side now. They're not on the attack. They don't have to make these gunfights happen if they don't want to. They're in the defense. It's perfectly fine for them to just leave all well and be. So now we can keep our fingers crossed and hope they'll be able to just sort of control that urge a little bit to get involved in these gunfights. I do love this blitz place in the Sunset, though. I have to call it out. I know it didn't work, but using a sense to sort of dissect the corridor and charge on through, it's a really good idea, and I'm gutted it didn't work out in execution.
Sadly, it didn't, and I think it would have if that drone would have been kept alive. I know I'm pointing my fingers on the Twitch drone a lot, but keep it in mind, the Thorn Trap wouldn't have gone on. The Blitz wouldn't have taken so much damage, and again, they wouldn't have gotten slowed down. They could have pushed on more smoothly with the team following along. There's just that one small, minute factor that ends up kind of costing the round, and that's the tier these two teams are currently displaying. Now, going into the next round, TYLOO with a very similar premises on what they want to pick. A util-heavy lineup. Now, Of course, there is a mix of information and denial, but by the end stage, they're just using strong operators, and kudos to them, it's working out.
Really is. Really going to be working out for them now. Getting that information, trying to pay it on through, and it's going to be a battle of the info in this round, right? Puffo, look, you got the Snake in the Deimos on the attack line as well, Grim. And then on the flip side, then you've got that Valkyrie, and she's basically worth her weight in gold in terms of information. Immediately on the receiving end of a death mark there, but oh no, Abby! How do you get away with that one for free? Fishing for a second there, outside on towards the balcony, pop the Vulcan canister. Instead, you can't quite peek it, but oh my goodness, that is an unfortunate one there for Fiber.
It's going to be the roam clearage operators as well, not only the Solid Snake, but Deimos. KTB fell in the meanwhile too, and that makes for 2 operators that are now going to leave KZ with not only a lot of time, but a lot of time that will need to go wasted because of roam clearage alone. They're losing drones in the meanwhile. The keep-up barriers are keeping them outside of the building, and Sunset hopefully doesn't go in alone once more. The line scan is going to catch Songlo's position. That's the moment. I mean, KingZero, they're just kind of starstruck. Where do we go from here on out?
Yeah, where do you go? Where do you do? You could send in the Blitz, Sunset trying to make something happen right now, but it's going to be a difficult one to try and convert them through. Charge on the head, you see the players around Horse really wanting to go for the guns now. TYLOO just need to make sure not to overextend themselves. We've seen it be their undoing before, and you can hope it's not going to be the same case here. Prone from a nice angle there, chilling on the sofa, able to find a kill with Momo. 3v4 Puffo, let's not let this slip.
Let's not let it slip. Like you said, it's happened in the past. Can't afford to have it happen again. Oh, like though in a really dangerous spot. Gonna have to back off. Still has that C4, but the Blitz is running them down, and individuality is what ends up bringing KingZero to an equalization here. It was down to like to throw that C4 or run away. Ended up going for a flight instead of the fight. And now it's 3v3. Utility is going to be your best friend here. You still have that Goyo canister that is being very patiently tempted from the side of Aoki. Just for now, 45 on clock in KingZero. They gotta move.
They gotta go. They gotta make a move inside of this one here, but you think you got 15 seconds with the Vulcan canister. You could hear the Stadari trip connector, it gets taken down, and then about 8 seconds later it's back up. Syria Gates as well. It's a very hard sell right now for KingZero. It's very one-dimensional, but an opening pick like that for Liam to find one makes it work, and unfortunately there for TYLOO, they just give themselves away in the gunfights, and look at that, Puffo, KingZero, they're fired up, they're happy about that one, and I would be as well. 2 rounds in a row that really, I don't know if you could say they should have been theirs, and I think we're going into a tactical timeout now, called by the side of TYLOO, because this one is rapidly slipping away from them.
Yeah, I would call a tactical timeout in their spot as well. I mean, like you said, 2 rounds right now that should have been TYLOO's, but they just end up misplaying at certain times. They hold an advantage, and they try to overdo it. They overdid it once more, and well, it's now going to be a single round away from match point for KingZero, something that needs to be taken into account, especially for the mentality of these players. Yes, it is a best of 3. You can't afford to lose a map, but you'd rather not, because then on Consulate, KingZero are going to have themselves an opportunity to win it out in regulation, or not in regulation, in flawless fashion. So, again, TYLOO, it's not the end just yet, but you have to be very careful of how you approach these next following rounds. And as much as I have been praising playing the really solid concrete operators that the map brings, it still doesn't matter if you don't play them correctly, or you as a team end up kind of giving up these free picks. I mean, look at what TYLOO were given. Just this call on Solid Snake was so free.
That's a meme moment right there. You look at the scanner and go, oh no, he's right there, isn't he? And then he just immediately get blasted in the face. Unfortunate one. It's the danger of the Solid Snake, right? He is vulnerable when he is using that. Scanner can't have a gun out. He just has that tiny little knife, and unfortunately, tiny little knife's not good to in a gunfight. Bit of siege knowledge for you. Bit of siege ball knowledge. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
That is good knowledge. Travi, I'm going to use that in my next ranked match and let you know how it goes. Now, as TYLOO. Thank you. I've been needing some good tips, because right now my ranked matches, they've been bad. Let me tell you, they've been having me screaming. It's like probably top 3 worst things of all time.
I saw your tweet yesterday. I'm like, I can see Puffo's been on Siege for a while, and then about half an hour later, I see your tweet, and I'm just like, he's not having fun in the trenches, is he?
It was bad, okay? It was bad. Sometimes you get to wonder if people can think. But jokes aside, now we return towards the best 4. Oh, look at Sango trying to challenge it out. Again, KingZero, these opening aggressive plays. really tend to catch TYLOO off guard, but this time around, not fully.
No, almost. Got to be careful there. Songler just continuing to be the aggressive bastard. And for me, I almost think the aggression's the undoing of TYLOO, right? They've been so good in these early rounds. They'll get a 5v3 situation going in their favour. They'll get these nice couple of early picks that they want to do. And then all of a sudden, a couple kills later, they've got a bit over-aggressive. And KingZero have been able to rip that advantage right out from underneath and then send it back the other direction. So now it's just going to be, I think it's going to be a bit of a pacing game here for TYLOO. That's probably what the timeout was about. Don't get nervous just because you've got an advantage. Be comfortable to hold that advantage when you've got it. You don't need to give it away for anything. As of now, though, Deimos making his entry through the building, Lion to follow as well, trying to pinch out these players inside of Projector. But instead, it's Songler coming alive here, and Boy with another. It's making a really difficult one here as KZ just getting dismantled.
Oh my god, TYLOO are serving them. They're holding back no punches. I mean, there was no mercy here for KingZero's entrance. They sent out a line scan, and TYLOO responded with 3 kills down the drain. And even now, KCB's having a bit of a difficult way towards challenging Abby alone. You do have 2 players and a nade. They're just working off of nothing. A minute and 15 seconds here for KingZero to manage a 2v5, which honestly, considering the previous rounds, wouldn't be impossible, but I'm assuming after the tactical timeout, TYLOO have gotten it together. And as you can see by their playstyle, every single one of these defenders, they're just holding their positions as intended, not pushing out unnecessarily.
It's cold on the other side of the map as well, just to make matters worse for the attack here. It's cold, and the thing you can see it right now from the perspective here of KZB, it's on the other side. There's just a sea of defenders waiting in the middle of them. No way they get this one done in 45 seconds. If they do, I will probably eat a shoe or something. This one's very unlikely. Pushing up into a mirror window as well. The odds are firmly stacked against KZ right now. What do you do in this situation? Not a lot, really. You're out of frags, out of utility. Nothing to force the player away. It would literally have to be TYLOO throwing the round entirely, and they're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. They would never do that, right? I mean, by this point, Momo and KZB, they're stuck in a corner, backed up against the wall. Whatever you want to say it, KZB is going to find one, but no more lineups here, right? They're just stuck. They have nowhere to go. 8 seconds on the line. Songla's going to find another one for the taken. Second one inside this round already, maybe even third. Again, Songla has been just phenomenal in the past couple of rounds, especially on these openings. We saw Songla as well at the very beginning of the round try to swing out for a player on repel. So this aggression here by the side of the defense is, well, certainly overwhelming. And I like the fact that, you know, the attackers are throwing all this utility. They're trying to perfectly plan something in the midst of a moment. They throw out a line scan, they send 2-3 players forward. TYLOO respond with just mowing them all down. Yep,
you could be the best utility player in the world, but it's easy to shoot a game at the end of the day. You have to be able to shoot back sometimes, and unfortunately there, KZ just unable. And really, I think that round was a long time coming. Like I said, throughout the entirety of this half, the early rounds have been won by TYLOO. It was just converting that through in the late round was something that was just eluding them. But the tactical timeout from the coach seems to have steadied the ship a little bit here. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game does go to an even 5-5 after this round here. Obviously, KingZero do hold the advantage, and it would be great for them to be able to try and steal this one away, get up onto a map point here, because you've got to keep in mind, this isn't their map pick. TYLOO, they wanted to be here. They should be proving themselves right now with this very trap-heavy lineup. They're looking to equalize and bring this map back.
Certainly should. Again, most of these defensive rounds have been what I would call in their favor. Just 2 of them, certainly they haven't exercised to full caution, so sadly it ended up costing them and giving KingZero over quite the lead, which KingZero can still utilize. If they win this round again, it's going to be match point. They're going to be 2 rounds ahead, which gives them a real good safety net going either into the second half, or rather into overtime, or maybe just winning it out within regulation. But these early beginnings, again, by the side of KingZero, unless it's a large slip-up by TYLOO, haven't been looking the best.
No. It's not been perfect right now here from TYLOO. And we need to see that change. I'd love to see a perfect round from them, actually, Puffo, to be honest with you. I really would be... I'm rooting for these guys to have like a great round start. Especially the last one was pretty close to it, I've got to be honest here. Though for KingZero, things are going to need to change. How do they get this early round? This has been the problem for them. They now need to try and find the opener here inside of that half. You've got the Deimos, you've got the Snake, so you should be able to try and force that gunfight easily. It's just winning it.
I mean, Momo's just shocking Abby for the love of the game. Honestly, I respect the hustle here, Momo. You keep annoying these players until they're tempted to swing at you, but from clearage now out, the Blitz is going to be the spearhead of this push, clearing out the entirety of this upper floor just to make sure that they have not only the ground covered, but also to find any early initiations if they can. Sunset has been good on the shield so far, proving real good on the KD, but as well with the utility that's been provided to work against the Blitz. Sunset's been doing great, especially those solo initiations. Even though they haven't always gone in the favor of Sunset, the fact that he's thinking of it, the fact that he has a plan in mind of how to play this Blitz and push out certain operators from very strong angles is already a bonus.
Huge bonus. Pushing across now. Arky's going to be droned on out. Spotted there. The attack don't seem to want to take that gunfight. Instead, it's going to be a gunfight with Hoy that comes out victorious for the defense here, holding strong behind this defendable shield. And just like that, yet again, Puffer, it's KZ just getting absolutely destroyed here inside of this round. 2v5 situation awaits them with 60 seconds left to go here. Leon's outside the building. Fiber's left all on his own down below, chasing ghosts. This one, it's just not going to plan.
No, it's not. Back on the same position as 2 rounds ago, Fiber. On a scan for operators, you do have Leon there to help you out with a nice little cross from the outside, but at this point, the round is over. TYLOO once more hold them in a chokehold of a 2v5 like they did in the prior round. This is going to be another shootout here, and it's going to be Light taking the first of it. Fiber returns the fire, but what does that matter? We have a couple more operators, not a couple more. We have 4 more operators to take out, and Hoy does end up going down, but not fully out just yet. Still traps around 20 seconds here. By this point, the rounds, I mean, there's not much more we can say.
Yeah, this round should be firmly over. TYLOO coming out of that tactical timeout there, Puffo. 2 very dominant rounds. Like, these rounds have not been close. They have not been competitive. This has just been TYLOO flexing their muscles, getting themselves over the line. Look at that, 4 people left alive on their side by the end of the round there. KingZero didn't really get a chance to fight back there. And you've just got to give it credit there to TYLOO. Being able to play that line of aggression. There's a fine middle ground between over-aggressive and under-aggressive. I think they're currently riding that line all the way to a victory at the moment. Perfect going. And we're actually now going to see the inverse happen. A tactical timeout from KingZero, because suddenly this one, like we said a couple of rounds ago for TYLOO, it's now slipping away from KingZero.
It is. But I'm mostly going to say that I believe this round should be the best chance KingZero will have inside this matchup to find the 6th round. I would maybe even argue it would be the only one remaining, because now we are heading towards a tertiary site, meaning the defenders are not going to have themselves as easy of a going as they have on these upper floor sites. So KingZero, if you're able to win out this round, not only do you secure overtime, but you can also throw a bit of a gambit play into the next one, hoping that you can finish it out within regulation. So this tactical timeout, I would assume, would be focused towards that ish conversation. How do you plan? How do you properly prepare going inside this round? Do you want to take verticality? Do you want to focus on anything specific? Because as we've seen from TYLOO's attack, they wanted to kind of go for a very standard push. You go for the verticality, you smoke, you plant. It's simple, but the defenders easily countered it. And KingZero, they don't want to be as simple.
Let's not simplify. I like that. Let's not be too simple. Let's just keep things nice. Nice and fun is the way we're going to be seeing it. And TYLOO certainly are with this operator lineup. We're back on towards the mirror. We're bringing out to Tachanka, who has actually eluded us quite a lot of this game. We saw him a lot. Even on Fortress yesterday, he was quite popular. So bringing him right back out here at home to try and stall down KingZero. And it signifies to me, Puffo, looking at this lineup, they're going to play a little bit more reserved here, TYLOO, expecting an aggressive round from KingZero. And looking at the lineup, they're probably right to do so. Play a bit more reserved, play a bit more safely inside of your numbers, and if you do lose a pick, at least you've got people there to trade it back.
Chunk is going to be one of the rare picks we get to see inside this map. An extremely strong one as well, because TYLOO have seen their own attack and they don't want to allow KingZero to go for a similar type of push. Tachanka is going to be the best counter, but take a look at the lineup. We do see the Thatcher here on Sunset, which could be towards denial of C4s, could be towards something else. But the overall lineup from KingZero seems a lot more on hand. We have the Blitz instead of the Monty, which, to be fair, is banned. But the Blitz is going to have a faster clearage, although you risk him being taken out because the protection factor of that Monty is gone now, kind of replaced with a bit more of an aggressive benefactor. And I'm liking the fact that they're not going for the sledge. The sledge on the side of TYLOO on their attack almost got C4'd, almost got taken out by a warden, especially because that hammer is very personal towards verticalities. With a ram, you just send the boogie, and you can do whatever you want from then on out.
Get the boogie in, get that vertical, nice and going. KZ, just a steady start towards this round here, not overextending themselves, not giving anything up away yet. First death marks have come on through, on towards the Castle of Like. Now, you're charging them through, you recognise these down below. Ultimately, nothing to gain here on the second floor. A safe start so far for this attack, just making the vertical known. And despite the C4s down below, not really much contesting from TYLOO here either.
TYLOO are waiting. It's going to be a bunkered down push, and both these teams, they know it's going to be a safe beginning, as this side always has been. It's going to be down to the execution itself. That's when I think it's going to get the hottest and heaviest between these two teams.
It's going to get hot, it's going to get fast, it's going to get nice and spicy, we can hope, inside of this one. Just taking their time so far, KingZero, to try and find themselves a gap before they commit down towards the push, but time's going away from them, so they are going to have to start making moves towards the objective. Now, 3 players going down, trying to look to contest on towards the side itself. Where they want to go, you can almost catch the feet of one there. You've got to be really careful there if you're Hoy, not to overextend yourself. And most importantly, the Shamika on the back line of this objective can stall out that push from the front door as well.
Angela's going to start putting the Shamika launcher to use. And again, if you optimize out every single one of these Farinades, they can end up wasting about a minute. As Abby elsewhere finding Lee, and that's going to be the push up towards the top floor. But KCB returns it in twice, although falls to fire. Fiber for himself, and it seems like TYLOO just can't hold their own inside this round. As now it's a Warden lonely and 1v3 and outnumbered. And it will be a shutdown here by KingZero. They played it well. They nicely executed, and most importantly, they just kind of waited for the defenders to get into their hands.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game for me, Puffer, and it's shaping up to be a really fun one. Reason for that is this is unlike the CNL. This is not like, I don't feel like I'm watching a CNL game right now for the best possible ways. This is a bit slower, it's a little bit more calculated in towards this second half, especially here. It feels different, it feels quite distinct from what I'm used to seeing from these teams inside of this region. And I'm honestly all here for it. A bit of a change up in the way we play, and we're probably going to get a bit more of it considering how the map veto lies. KingZero, though, on the verge of stealing their opponent's map pick from them. If they get this next round, they're going to go up 1-0 in the series and steal Fortress away from TYLOO.
This is a huge round, the largest one we've had just yet, because, like you said, what lies here is KingZero, they win it within regulation, and even if they don't, they still have a second chance that is being fought for by TYLOO, most importantly as well. If they don't win it, their own map pick, it's going to be a bit more uncomfortable going towards Consulate. And I would argue that Consulate being so defender-sided is going to be certainly comfortable territory for TYLOO, because, you know, they've just been playing what's good on the map. And in the more recent times, it's been working out for them. But it needs to work this time, because if it doesn't and there's a single slip-up in the defense, I don't think for a second that KingZero will fail to punish it.
Here we go. Now, final round of regulation, bringing out that sense in the blitz yet again. I can't help but feel it'll be a similar game from KingZero. Try to dissect some of these longer corridors using those RAUs and then get the blitz in on 1A of another. This player on the staircase, you're going to know he's right there. Deimos has identified him as well, so I can force that 1v1 out with the death mark, sending the blitz on the other side, and you've suddenly got a recipe for chaos. Things could be very spicy coming in towards this round here, but 45 seconds in, it's still on KingZero to make the first move.
Death mark being just edged towards the Warden. Not fully committed just yet. Gotta wait for the call from Sunset again. Pushing these main stairs. It's ground for death. Now the Warden being scanned, spotted. You have the Shamikas going both ways to make sure that these main stairs are allocated and kept for the defense. Although Arky wasting a lot of these launches. Just a lot of fire in the early part of the round, which maybe could have been better safe kept towards the end of the round. Either way, though, this one's going to go awkward. In the meanwhile, though, Abby's going to find Momo, and that's the first attacker from KZ gone.
That's the Deimos as well. A lot of that pressure you can create with him is just not going to be able to come through anymore. Beehive's going in, Smoke following through. In goes the Blitz, straight into his demise there as Hoy's waiting for him behind Horse. Able to get one, spots the Grim making it on his second, drops to a prone, able to get the headshot as well. Meanwhile, the rest of the team for KZ has fallen to the wayside here. It's up to KZB now to bring this one back in a 1v4. Stores himself out there with the Vulcan canister. Puffo, this one's probably heading to an overtime.
I don't think it's probably. I think it's granted. Unless TYLOO do a generational throw, it should be just about as over. Sadly, KCB was left in the dust while his teammates were fighting for their lives out on the battlefield. The Sens was just outside chilling, not really given an opportunity to take a gunfight, and late to the party now, 45 on clock, and needs to move. I mean, you have a Sentinel already going one way. No utility remaining on this last operator, and working against 4 very ruthless defenders that have already shut down the entirety of your roster, ready to take it into overtime, because this is a map that deserves it. I think Fortress, with how rarely it's seen, it's only best that we get to see it in the Big 15.
All I'm saying is we've had 2 fortresses so far in the CNL. Both now have gone to an overtime. This is just a testament, I think, to how fun this map and competitive it is. Moves in, gets the one, but no, it's an inevitability. You said it, Puffo. Overtime will call us yet again. Crawl back here. It only took a day off, and we're immediately back into it. This is going to be the closest match we're going to have all day. I've got a feeling. And map 1 is starting off in the exact fashion you expect it to. KingZero on the attack 2 times. 1 defense for them, TYLOO on the inverse. Heading up to Commander Office to start things off.
Can we just talk about the final shot that KCB delivered before going out? A single bullet to the head, a one-tap flick to the left on what is to be almost a borderline pixel? Crazy stuff. Even though he didn't win the round, sadly, in the end, I think it was a good way for him to go out. But like he said, overtime, it is time for overtime. And we are excited for it. We're going to head to the best side here, arguably. But no, the defenders are not going to opt out to go towards what would be the first pick usually. We're going to go for dorms here, which honestly respectable enough. And I do wonder if main breach is going to get contested. Normally, you want to put footholds down there so the attackers don't really have themselves a safe and sound entry. But take a look at the previous round and what really went wrong. Again, these solo initiations, look at them. Everyone from KingZero isn't working together or around utility. They're just kind of cupping themselves in, but oh God, what a shot by KZB. That just tingles me.
You love that shot, and then you get the slow-mo on the replay. It's like over in the CNL studio, they could hear you. But I think that's coming from the CNL, guys.
It's coming from the CNL. I thought Mitch did me a favor right now, but the CNL tapped me up.
Had a quick phone call over to the studio in like the 5 seconds, like, yeah, can we get this one in slow-mo just for Puffo Bob? And they obliged.
We gotta love CNL. CNL has been so kind to us. Although, Travi, now it's down to KingZero, right? Can they make something happen? They've been constantly going for a similar push with little to no adaptation, if I am to say so myself. And TYLOO, they've been just working around it. We have a lot of information incoming right now from Solid Snake, so this isolates the players in the very bathroom side of the map, meaning the attackers can kind of shut them down and maybe even execute them, but I'd be close with a shotgun. I don't think this is going to go well.
3 of them identified now for the Solid Snake, realising there's quite a lot of presence over there, which is actually diverting attention towards the objective here for KZ. They realise they might be able to just go for something on towards the site direct instead. First one on this extension is going to fall on down there. Everyone on the far side getting identified, pinged, you name it right now. KZ know exactly what they're going to be playing up against, and now here comes the Blitz charging on in to try and get something going, to try and deal with them, but his defenders, they're not shaking.
Good fire yet. We go Canister still making an effort to push the Blitz back for as long as possible. The shots by Abby because TYLOO recognized they're at a man disadvantage, so evening out the score certainly would be a priority. To pop another one just to waste as much time as humanly possible. There's plenty of setup in sight yet. We have the mirrors, we have the Tubarao, so breach isn't going to be as easily obtained, and even then we only have can openers to do it. So KingZero, even though they've gotten the kill, there's still more that needs to be done. And when it's TYLOO fighting back, you have to be really safe of how you approach it. Abby's going to shut down KZB. It's now in their favor. A bear shot by Viper, getting through just by the bare skin of their teeth. 2v2 now, and the push by the attackers has made itself clear. Going to slow down this blitz, put him in a very isolated position, meaning just one more shot. Challenge Sunset, please.
It's a pickle. It's a real difficult one right now for KZ to try and convert this one. Nazoto Callister's going to wear off its effect. Both defenders identified by the Snake in a 2v2 situation now. Stalemate inside of the bomb site. But it has to be these attackers to make the first move. It has to be KZ to be the ones to make this initial spurt of aggression there on a sliver of HP. Sunset goes to drop the defuse on the floor. Fiber being left on his lonesome in momentary 1v2 to cover. Going around the back is going to be Abby, but he's not even going to be needed there. Arky finds one, Abby with the other, and TYLOO will take match point here on Fortress.
For a moment, I was very scared because the defenders once more let a shield live because they refrained to challenge him more. I mean, the Blitz, one more foot shot. I know these players aren't the fetish type, but you got to seek those out for as much as you can. In the end, though, Travi, it is going to be 6 against 7. Oh, I got to check the cam if he's doing the hand thingy. No, he's not. Okay.
I'm behaving today.
But TYLOO are now in the lead. They go towards the attacking side. If KingZero want to bring this to the big 15, they're going to need to make it count.
They're going to need to make this one huge round here in 14. The thing is, though, this is one of my favourite things about overtime, and it's always an interesting one. You have not played attack for 7 rounds at this point if you're TYLOO. You've been on defense for quite a little while now. You've been there, you've been on your mark. So it's quite interesting, I think, to see how it's going to play now. You're swapping these roles so frequently, how this one's going to change, etc. Of course, it will be the strongest bomb site going to be played first here. See what these teams have to show us inside of it. As for the offense, though, they're going to go straight on towards that Montaigne shield and play around the big man with the shield.
Big man with the shield. I think going inside this map, if we recall correctly, was it KZ on the attacking side? Either way, though, they did end up bringing the Blackbeard and the Blitz to kick off the map, which was a very interesting approach about it, but both these teams have been refraining from double shields ever since. And now, KingZero, we have to talk about the type of narrative they're going into. Again, it's been mostly them holding that match points against TYLOO in those couple of rounds back. It's going to be that exact role reversed, so they're kind of fighting for their life in this point. And yes, Consulate should be their favorite pick, so they're probably looking towards map 2 more than they are Fortress. But imagine them winning map number 1 and then going on towards something they like more.
That'd be scary. That'd be so scary. Going into that one. And that's where I think this one could be a 2-0. If TYLOO take this, I can pretty much see KingZero taking their own map pick, and then we head on towards the bank. So right now, I think it's really on TYLOO to try and make sure they go 1-0 up on their part of the series. A really important area to do so.
Comes out. We saw some flank coverage as well on the side of Soundla. Anti-drop. Alone, though. Not really a fan of this, I'll be quite frank, but you do have that gridlock right below him. It's going to be Aoki, just pushing himself deeper towards games, clearing out ground as well. Sees no one's close, but did we spot the meeting player? I don't think so right now. Goyo's still around the corner, quite close by, and you're going to want to clear that as fast as you can.
I'm curious to see what on earth is happening right now here. Esports just slowly charging his way through the map, just nonchalantly making his presence known. He's just kind of doing his thing, and it's quite fun to see. Watch him do his little bit and bob there. There you go, he's going to be spotted out now there by Fiber, who falls on back immediately back towards the safety of the bomb site there. Learn Scanner will detect him doing so, but it's ultimately not going to be enough. Exothermic on towards the projector wall, opens it up, sideline in towards bathroom created for the attacker here. TYLOO in the first half, shaping things up well.
Yeah, TYLOO, off to a good beginning. Again, KingZero aren't putting up as much of a front as TYLOO did on their own defense. They're still waiting for the push to come around, though. Very generic setup here by KingZero. Again, nothing bad about it, just nothing out of the ordinary either. Like TYLOO are bringing out all those strong operators to make sure that they can win those rounds as easily as they could. Information is still being gathered, but as of the moment, the attackers is getting ready to go for a good old push as always.
Here we go. Utility being dumped on, installed out by the Toxic Babes and the Fire as well. Unable to push on it. You could see the attack of TYLOO. They're just staring. They're looking at it going, we'd like to go in here, but we unfortunately cannot. due to the situation being a little hotter than anticipated. With 30 seconds left to go, Liam going to throw the second Toxic Wave up on over, and as soon as this attack pushes that little bit further, there's a C4 as well. There's layers to this one, Puffo. There's a wall of utility right now facing up for TYLOO, and they need to try and get themselves past it. Shielding towards the objective has been yellow pinged on out. Fiber with the first, immediately traded on back. C4 goes up, gets huge, but no, gets denied, and from the backstab can't make it happen. TYLOO having to just try and stick this plant on down. Can the cover be there? Songler able to find on towards Sunset. Two players drop to low HP here, but it's a 1v1 straight shooting, but Fiber comes in clutch and keeps KingZero alive in the game. We're going all the way to 15.
Oh, just barely. They're kept alive, and for a moment we saw Songla on a bit of a flow state with the gridlock, finding one down flick into the right, downing the Warden. In the end, though, it was just a bit too many defenders flowing back into their site at the very last second. And now we have ourselves once more a last stand, round 15, to determine it all. TYLOO on the favored defense. This is where they've been proving such a difficulty for KingZero to get rid of. And I wonder, what is KingZero going to switch? What are they going to swap out? Because they've been going for the same approach over and over, and it's never really worked out for them.
Something fun, something chaotic. But then again, it's CNL. Everything is chaotic, isn't it, Puffo? You're not going to... Can you escape the chaos?
I don't think we can. I don't think it's CNL. We are not escaping the chaos right now.
I don't want to. I like the chaos. It's fun. Chaos is fun.
Right? This is a bit different to our more, I don't want to say boring KML matches, you know what I mean? This is this type of chaos we miss as casters, and my goodness, the action here, we can just see it, the denial of C4, the pistol in the hands, and the flick of the wrist just to keep themselves alive. It is a struggle by both these teams, and the fact that they're both struggling makes it so much more exciting.
It's infinitely more compelling when this one is like a struggle fest back and forth here, because we've had some really good individual moments here played from all of these players. We've had some really good individual set plays, we've had some really good team plays. So this Fortress has kind of had a little bit of everything here, and as we come to the final round of it, you know, this is going to be that deciding factor that really chooses who is going to be going up into that series with that leg up. And this one, you know, this will determine the outcome of this series, I feel, because if KingZero can take it, they may be able to 2-0 on Consulate. There's a very real world in where they set themselves up for a 2-0. For TYLOO, though, they want to take this one so they can at least keep themselves good banked early, get their mapping underway. So if Consulate doesn't go, they have bank available to them. But that's the next map. Right now, here, round 15, KingZero sticking with much of the same for their attack, and TYLOO also doing the same.
Oh, good swing here. Oh my goodness, though. Songla, that's not a good way to begin it. You lose the Warden, you lose one of your major players. Songla has been performing beautifully throughout this match, and just to give up your life to KZB like that, a couple of missed shots, and not expecting the Deimos to be so close to that double door angle ends up costing them not only the man advantage, but now another one. Look at the side of KingZero. They've started getting used to this aggression. And another counter shock as Sunset will shut down Abby, take him to the darkness, and we have ourselves a 5v3.
This is exactly what TYLOO were doing before their tactical timeout on the defenses, Puffo, giving themselves away for 3v, over-aggressive, getting uncomfortable in the silence, wanting to make something happen and being punished for it. This is how KZ won their first couple of attacks. This is how TYLOO lost them, and it feels like on round 15, they've forgotten what was said in a tactical timeout, and they're making the same mistakes on here. In a 5v2 situation now, a spurt of confidence, this attack, all they have to do is find these final two defenders, and Fortress will be theirs.
They've already found one. Like is getting spotted by all sorts of directions, not from the Solid Snake, but also the Deimos alike. And twice double down on it, keep the information running through the veins of these attackers, as one's gonna get shut down, the other as well. And KingZero, they fought till the very end. It was the mistakes of TYLOO that ended up costing them not only a map, but now series point as well. We are going to be heading towards Consulate next. That is KingZero's pick, and if they find themselves comfortable on it, like you said, Travi, a flawless is certainly not out of the calculation.
It's not at all impossible inside of this one there. What a first map to kick off the day, that one there. Would you expect anything less, Puffo? Me and you, overtime, max unlimited, 15 on Fortress. That is what I want to see here in towards the CNL. The players after that absolute belter, they're going to need a little bit of a break, and so do we. So don't go anywhere, folks. Consulate is coming up. Don't go anywhere, because this playoff stay number 2 is just kicking off. Yep.
Assuming that we are back in. Either way, hello. We are back. Could you imagine it? We ended off the previous map with a big 15, where KingZero ended up taking it, as now they head on to Consulate. Their own map. It's still me, Puffo Bob. It's still Travi, and Travi, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully, Puffo. Map, well, I could have asked for more of a dream start to this series, if I'm being honest with you. 15 rounds of Fortress, back and forth the whole way through, but ultimately just narrowly in the final round there as KingZero to edge themselves out over the line, get that victory across the board, and now they head into their own map pick, favoured in the series, 1-0 up. Can they get it done in 2, or do we go all the way to 3? That is going to be the question, but before we get there, the stats from the previous map, and look at some of those guns firing on the side of KingZero.
My goodness, KingZero with KZB on 16-10, Fiber 15-9. These two players were forces that can't be reckoned with. Either way, though, I mean, Fortress was just an extremely solid match, and yeah, not looking the greatest here by TYLOO's finish, as now we slowly descend into Consulate. Map number 2 here that could end up determining the series and bringing one of these two teams to the lower brackets, while the other one keeps on rising, getting closer towards those grand finals. The predictions are in 58% for KingZero. Seeing this is their map, I'm not too surprised.
It's actually quite funny. I think that's the first time in ages I've seen a team lose map 1 and then come off better for it in the predictions. Like, the predictions of the previous map were more sided KingZero. TYLOO lost map 1 and they somehow gained a portion of the vote. They've gained a fair of believers, and with how close it was, you know what, I'm not a blame for them. If they can just iron out the over-aggression issues on their defenses here, I think they stand a really good chance of taking Consulate and bringing us all the way through to map 3. As for what we're taking out of this game, though, Azami and the Ying are going to be removed.
All right, going towards Consulate, it's not too much of a surprise. This isn't a map that heavily relies on main breaches, normally as your clubhouse would or such. So again, you want to go for the strong operators. The Azami is certainly a difficult one. Normally, you'd also imagine a Mira, maybe some shields, but post-plant and execution operators are the key to victory when it comes down to the attacker side. So Yang and Glass, not much of a surprise, and it also doesn't mean you have to really lean onto a Warden being played too much.
Not at all. And towards round number 1, we're seeing the sense, we're seeing the Blackbeard toys going up towards the top floor. Where else would we be heading to here on our initial round of Consulate? Things are going to get fun, things are going to get very spicy here, inevitably, no doubt. Goes down the clock of the prep phase here. We've seen that Denari setup. Going to be using the lasers, likely to stall out things towards Checker's side, just make things difficult for the attack, but more importantly, the Pulse hiding away inside a bathroom, Bob. That's going to make things very difficult for the attack if they don't drone him out.
I very much like that. I'm a heavy supporter of the Pulse being not only hidden. It's kind of like your low ranks where people hide the Kavera to make sure that she isn't spotted. But overall, though, the Pulse has a lot of poison inside this match, because if we take a look at the lineup that KingZero are bringing, this might be a very heavy office-sided push, especially throughout the window. We see the Thatcher, we see the Grim. That kind of points towards it, and even the spawns themselves. So just going on these repels and making sure you get yourself in a really advantageous position once in a post plant is certainly a good plan for the attackers. But again, getting to that position is probably one of the hardest ones inside of this entire map.
It's going to be a difficult one. Really difficult one to get themselves on towards to. We'll have to wait to see how these teams are able to crack it through. For now, though, it's just going to be Hoy holding this line alone outside towards admin side, inside of break behind the table. Nice bit of cover for himself there. Just going to be waiting for KZ to make that first aggressive entry in towards the building now. As they started off this attack, exactly what you would expect to see from them, lining up on the rappel outside, thinking about going underneath on the vertical, just kind of doing the standard things you would expect to see here on a Consulate, and precisely what, you know, things should look like here.
Those few Goyos have been popped. Going to be Hoy's utility starting to run low. You have that pulse below, but the attackers have a Deimos to keep it safe and sound. 2 Nomad air jabs to make sure no one can run up close with a shotgun, as the microwave knife being put to use, but Like is on the opposite side of the map, and we don't have as much of a focus from the defenders as we should. Right now, the Grimbees are going to slowly start getting sent on forward. The Smoke still has a couple of canisters which he can counter the plant with, but it's down to how well he can use those.
Yeah, can he get in position to deploy them? In comes the hop through from Momo. Diffuser now going to be hitting the floor, which is going to have to prompt someone into action here. Toxic Fame's going to pop, but I think it's a little too late there. Momo should be able to stick this one out. Granted, will cost him his life, but luckily, one kill does go back to the other direction. A second to follow as well for KingZero, but Like does not let them get away with that one for too long. The vertical control has been retaken here by the defense from underneath. Like with the C4 goes up, but no one inside the building. Misses its mark, unfortunately, there on the pulse. Very difficult post plant awaits now for TYLOO, but there goes Akuzi getting aggressive on towards it. Hoy wanted to try and find it as well there, and it's suddenly a 1v2 situation now where this Nomad needs to get aggressive. Fiver's found one. Can he get to the second in time? Yes, he can. And KingZero start their own map pick strong.
My goodness, that was a collaboration of all sorts of messes. I mean, the attackers, they were giving up kills a bit too easily. Liam especially kind of repelling, trying to find a good position just to allow one of the defenders to take them out. By the grand scheme of things, it was a Claymore that ended up saving these attackers on the repel, especially because a run-out was attempted, which I would maybe consider a bit of a rookie mistake. Of course, if they have nomads, most probably the flank will be covered. That's kind of the one-on-one of this push. So the defender's trying to take a bit of a long shot on running out. Seems a bit ambitious. Either though, it's going to be the opening round here for KingZero. They find themselves quite the comfortable attack, as now TYLOO continue, not giving this upper floor a second chance, but rather right down towards a tertiary objective.
Yep, we're heading over towards Piano for themselves now, which is where they're going to really head into. Bit of an interesting change up to the rotation, but you know what, not a bad one at all. And continuing as well with this pulse, I really don't think Like got an idea position to shine in the previous round. Just wasn't quite there to catch the vertical pressure when it initially came from KingZero, and then by the time he was there in a position to respond to it, instead all of a sudden a very difficult situation that you can't find yourself really winnable to, throwing the C4 up into a void essentially. So hopefully this time around it gives you that flexibility to play inside of the basement. You've got to maximise the usage of that pulse, and hopefully there, maybe get something big out of it, especially into one of these shields. That C4 would not go amiss.
And the pulse now in play, something that TYLOO certainly have been loving. Has been good on tracking and covering large areas of the map right now, which is like around the server, making sure that Visa is all safe and sound, while though the rest of the defenders, they can actually focus on holding this piano and upper floor, something that KingZero are looking towards approaching. We see Sunset on the roof, there's some breaches coming around towards the single wall on the main balcony, but overall though, it's just slow progress from both these teams as they're waiting to clear each other out.
Slow and steady wins the race, though. I'm going to remember that one. That's a very important line. Slow and steady does indeed win on through, but equally for KingZero, you will need to make a move at some point inside of this round. There, you could see it like holding this angle on towards the window hop in there. So if the Blitz sends himself in, he will be immediately shut back on down out. Really just right now, this attack just searching for where the best place to go is that initial point. Where do you start this attack from? What is your point of origin here for entering the building and trying to get going? Because we're halfway through the round now, Puffer, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried here for offense. They've not really achieved a whole lot, I feel.
Oh, not so much. I mean, KingZero, they've had an early beginning where they found those single wall breaches. They continued pushing around, but you take a look at the positions of every single one of them. There's not a step inside this building that has been made. A very desperate flash being made. The smoke as well, which is going to get countered with an awkward C4 that will certainly deny any run-in. So KingZero are now being held at bay once more like they have for the entirety of the match, as only 1 minute remains.
The C4 might actually worked in his favour there for Hoy, because he doesn't want to... Oh. I was going to say the noise of it is stopping him from hopping in, but just takes out his own C4 there. Bit of a shame, but unfortunate to see nonetheless. And then there you go, you get peeked from the window by KZB there. Will be immediately traded out right by Songler from inside the bomb site, denying it through 4v4. 40 seconds left on the clock here. The attack's having to get aggressive. Is that another misthrown C4?
It did seem like it. Either though, now the pulse is going to remain on the bottom floor, meaning KingZero are going to have themselves another layer to clear out or have to ignore, which could end up costing them not only a player, but maybe also the round. And elsewhere around Spiral, finding himself an equalization towards his team as time is running low. Now, Sunset will need to commit to a plan, but taking heavy damage from this vertical set up by Arky, as trying to track him down, but the Blitz runs away for now towards that lobby side, and a shutdown by Ami from the upper floor. Sunset returns the favor, now low in HP, but still able to a fight. C4 from below, and that's going to be the case gone cold. And you're just going to need to commit it or go for a pistol shot that will be hit from the pulse. Keeps himself in a cubby, close and hidden, and in the end ends up stalling out enough time.
Nail by today. You could have gone for the defuse, could have tried to deny to get the plant down on the floor, but it's a risk taken, and it was an equal risk if you go for the 1v1 with the pulse there. Just unfortunately not enough time to get into kitchen and actually take that gunfight there. So what a piece so far inside of this one, which, you know, is good things going, good pacing for the attack here. As you know, you're expecting them to maybe come out this half 2-4, probably would be where I'd be leaning this one too. So right now, I think for the side of KingZero, it's been a good start for them. That was another close round. We'll shake it off, go for the next. TYLOO, much better round as well from them. Really liked what I saw inside of that one. Just kind of having that better pacing and really being able to just keep themselves in it and alive and holding each other's crosses. Good round from them. Hope to see more.
Yeah, that's what we've talked about going into this match. I think we can both still agree that this might be one of the best matches going into the playoffs. It's not only been close, but it's been nail-biting since the very beginning. On Fortress as well, it was a back and forth constantly where you can really not predict who would end up winning the round. As far as at the moment, this is that similar type of direction we're heading into within KingZero. Both these teams, back and forth, really close rounds. It always comes down to 1v1-ish scenarios and final seconds ticking away as we are having a bit of what seems to be a technical timeout. These two teams just going to get everything solved in the background and a rehost as well while at it. So while that's happening, we're going to cut it to a short break, and we're going to be back with you once the action resumes. All right, we return. We are apparently live, and we are going back into the match. We said it was a short technical pause, and Travi, we're going into it. What I do want to call out is going to be an interesting operator pick by TYLOO, and I think we both know who I am eyeing up.
You're right up that vigil, aren't you? You want to see some Bosch G action, if that's what likes bringing along to the table this time. You want to see that Bosch G spawn peak. I know what you're like, and you know what?
Ding, ding, ding.
I can't lie, I'm the exact same. I can't pretend to be better than you. I'm a simple man. I like to see simple, funny things, and the Bosch G spawn peak is one of those funny things. So we're here for it. It's a very extensive roam lineup here from TYLOO this time. I've got a feeling they could be playing the whole map, which is quite a difference to how they've been playing previous rounds. So I'm quite curious to see how it stacks out for them, because we saw them try this on Fortress, and it honestly kind of was their undoing because they just leaned into a little bit of over-aggression at times.
Yeah, that over-aggression did somewhat favor them at the very beginning. Then towards the later parts of the round, they ended up swinging in what should not be swung. A similar situation here with Songo, who's close to Sunset's crosshair, but for now is going to back off, play it safe, and that will be the correct decision as for now. But as you mentioned, really extensive roam here. They're also expanding some of their own utility on this upper floor just to make it as easy and as difficult for KingZero to clear. Especially with Sunset, who's now isolated and needing to force out this Ella player who just doesn't seem to be budging.
No, she doesn't really care right now. She's quite chilling. Songler's quite happy to kind of take that position and just be ready for it. Over elsewhere, up here on towards the top floor, in comes the Deimos now, trying to do something on towards Abe's position. Will throw the frag grenade, prompting the drop on down to the first floor, giving him the space, giving him the clear across here. And that second floor almost cleared through, except for Like, who springs into action, shuts down KZB. And now things get a little bit difficult here for the offense, as they've now got to deal with this vigil in and amongst their midst.
He's in his peak prime, Like with a Bosch G in hand, holding an angle down and this fort of admin, but it does seem like KingZero for now do go ignoring him. I mean, the Vigil is going to be allowed to roam freely, which could be something that would bite KingZero in the back soon. The drone is there. We still have a Lion right around vending. And again, we have to keep in mind, the Vigil has the counter utility towards the line, but Like has been spotted, maybe willingly, so he can have these attackers push him and waste more time. As for now, though, it doesn't seem like TYLOO is going to be falling into that trap.
No, you're playing a suicide position up there if you're Like. You know you're going to die at some point. It's just how much time can you burn. So giving the game away, giving your position is exactly what you're going to want to do. Kill traded back and forth there. Momo gets one, taken right back on out of it. Advantage will be held for the defense here at the 45-second mark. This attack having to work for it just a little bit. See what they can do. Where can they go? All four remaining defenders are identified by this Deimos, so he can pop the death mark onto whoever he so pleases. But like you say, Puffer, the big concern right now is Like, because they've just chosen to ignore him and go direct to the site instead.
Environmental canister spot. We still have Leon outside this main breach. It's down of how he's going to enter safely and how it will be held. We have the demos around yellow. Speaking of the devil, he ends up falling. A good drop here and low HP on Hoy, but it is Abby who ends up holding his back, and now lowly Thermite, 10 seconds remaining, and a diffuser in his hands being overwhelmed by all these angles, and a quick shutdown here by TYLOO as they claim the lead.
Good job there from TYLOO. Really just a solid round from them doing the holdout and answering much of the questions I had raised from Fortress, right? Where they were getting over-aggressive on Fortress. They're not doing it so much here. You've got one player who is doing that, and that is fine because you've got Like being over-aggressive. He gets his one and then just runs, hide. Doesn't go back to side though, sits on the back line, sits in the phantom area, and is a thinking point for KingZero throughout that entire round. Everything they do, they second guess themselves because they know there's that Roma still out, present, and on the board for them. The Smoke and the Montaigne man coming on through here at the quarterway point, but it is TYLOO taking that early lead, and I can't say I expected any different.
Certainly not. KingZero are going to get their Monte removed, which will force Momo to play the Blackbeard instead. As for the defensive bans, it kind of goes with tradition. Get rid of the Plant Deniers, get rid of the Smoke Tachanka, Zami the first one as well. And now we're going into round number 4 here, which is going to be this upper floor that has been quite difficult for the defenders to maintain, at least the last time around. Now heading back to it once more, their lineup seems completely switched as well. The Pulse is no longer here, which would be the major change.
Yeah, bye-bye Pulse. He's not inside of this one. Instead, it's going to be like on towards the mute this time, trying to provide a protection from the information, from the offense, make sure they can't really get all of that which they need. You know, you use it to deny some of these walls a bit further up, or just have some safe pockets from these drones. Good bit of information denial there to be brought along to the table, and a much more standard go of things here as well for the side of TYLOO, you know, opting away from that Denari as well. The attack, though, it does look much of the same from what we've seen from them before, so I'm curious to see whether this is a TYLOO trying to adapt it onto that directly, and how that's going to affect this round playing out.
Admin-sided push now. Different approach by KingZero as well, knowing that that same office single window run-in isn't going to work for the second time in a row, because TYLOO might have adapted to it, although not as much. They still keep themselves very traditional with their lineup. The Goyo, as always, because the Smoke and Tachanka aren't playable. But as of the moment, KingZero actually opening up these windows, getting as many entries and pressure points towards the defense of Admin. They still have a player or two to clear out, though, and I don't think they're going to let go so easily.
Oh no, they are not going to let go easily here. If the TYLOO showed us one thing so far from their take on Consular, it's going to be they're going to want to fight for every inch of this ground. They're not going to give any of it away where they can avoid doing so. So KingZero do have quite a lot of frag grenades though. 6 of them in pocket available, brought in towards this round. Combined up with the flashbangs and the air jabs of the Nomad as well. They've got plenty of options for trying to use utility to dislodge players here, but the idea of a run out on towards the balcony there is giving them an air of caution and making them not want to commit towards anything yet. However, Fiber, he commits to a pick, he's able to get his first.
Boyd tries backing off, even taking a couple of challenges, but barely getting away. There were a couple of attackers already on his tail, but he has retreated back to site, safe and sound, and now KingZero have claimed not only admin territory, maybe wasted a bit of time, but most importantly gotten rid of Sangla as well in the meanwhile, so the process has gone successfully through.
Now they can look to push on through the map here. Checkers will be next one up in line of defense. You do have the Vulcan Canister ready to pop there, should when it come for Hoy. Time being, though, it's just going to be a slow and steady push across here for KingZero. No need to overextend themselves for TYLOO. It's going to be try and catch someone off, try and make a way where you can find yourself that freebie pick here. Momo on the Blackbeard going to be spearheading this charge here. Knows about the player playing behind reception desk and all of those around there as well. Just can't commit to anything too much yet because of the fire, but with that dissipated on through the ROU, projector walls come on up, and now it's time to send in the shield.
As presence has been made loud and sound. Right now it's going to be TYLOO, who just don't have much of a way of countering the so-called shield. Their C4s have ran out as well. It's going to be down to impacts and bullets alone. In the meanwhile, though, Fiber in a really good spot for anyone that is going to be ambitious to try and swing towards long desk. A couple of warning shots to keep them away, as Abe is going to even out the score now. But Sunset tips it back in the favor of KingZero, and by a large margin with Leon now with a coup de grace following quickly after. And just like that, KingZero are right back into the game.
That was a crazy little 4 kills in the span of like 5 seconds there. Not even that, I don't think, for KingZero. Beautiful response, beautiful execution. It all shaped up, and ultimately, I don't think TYLOO saw that one coming in the slightest, Puffo. They weren't ready for all of that action. 2 kills from one, 2 kills from the other. We'll see it on the replays in a couple of seconds here, no doubt. But ultimately, a very speedy round from them, and it will keep KingZero competitive inside of this one. 2-2 as the scoreline will sit for themselves, back up towards the top floor for the defense now, as they want to make sure they can get this one under lock.
This upper floor is the best chance that right now TYLOO have to win out this round. If they get this one, it's going to be back to downstairs or maybe even piano, which has been quite successful for them. But how do they play correctly around it? It's always this ground taking that's so successful by KingZero on their attack. They open up the admin windows, they find themselves an early entry, and unlike on Fortress, TYLOO can't play as aggressive on Consulate.
No, you can't. You really can't be getting away with that kind of shenanigans here on Consulate. I've explained to their detriment a little bit here. Like we said, Consulate does typically lean itself into more of that defender favour. So the fact that KingZero have already been able to get in 2 rounds over the line by round 4, if they come out with an even split here, they've certainly, I would argue, come out victorious. This half, TYLOO though, they're not playing too far behind here and they still could close this one out in the situation. It just concerns me they've not been able to get this top floor across the line yet. They now need to do so here, bringing it a 3rd time in the half. Is it going to be the right call to make?
Second time as well. Office push once more, KingZero. Lineup is already saying it loudly. We have all those claymores around the runouts just to ensure that they do not get countered perfectly. We have the Thatcher, the Deimos to go below and clear out any defenders that might be willing to challenge them on that ground, but by the positions of the defenders alone, everyone's just playing around site and admin. This might end up encumbering their playstyle, especially the performance inside this round, because the attackers, KingZero, are once more setting up to go towards this office push, and, well, they certainly have the lineup for it.
They do indeed. Deimos down below, all lining up to go for this hop-in yet again here. We've seen these games before. Can they pull it off yet again? Grenade goes in. Deimos underneath now to try and contest. And there's only 3 people on the site right now. Puffo 2 playing down below. There's not a lot at home, and this could actually be quite an easy execute here for KingZero if they decide to push it in. The impact grenade goes up, try to trick out the air jump. I'm not sure if it did connect or not. So once this fire does dissipate on through, should be a straightforward hop-in, I reckon, here. But the defense, they're aware of what's coming. They're moving to anticipate it. Can they stop the plant going down?
Oh, they don't have a lot of utility to deny it either. There's going to be a bailiff and Momo. What are we thinking? Going in alone, that's a player down. Thankfully, it wasn't Sunset, though, so you still have the case in your hands, but it seems like TYLOO are just waiting for KingZero in their own territory. As of now, though, heavy damage towards the Deimos as he does end up dropping. That's going to be verticality established and running right into Light's hands as the shotgun has dealt 2 heavy blows with Songla finishing out the round alongside his comrade. And just like that, TYLOO will have the ultimate counter towards this office push simply by gunning their opponents down.
I've got to really question that round there from KingZero, if I'm being honest with you, Puffo. Why are we doing that the exact same way twice?
No idea.
You did it. You did it the exact same way in the first round that one was played. So they've seen that attack before. They know what's coming. And that is the kind of play where if you know it's coming, it's very easy to read into. It's very easy to deny because you're hopping in through a window. And when you hop in that window, you only have one way forwards. You don't have many options on where to go. So it's going to be one of those where I'm left scratching my head just a little bit, if I'm being honest, on why we're giving that one a second go. But TYLOO, I don't think they're going to question it too much. They'll be happy to take away from that round. Guarantee themselves the even split. Look to try and come out with the advantage here as we head down towards the basement for our final round of this half.
I don't want to delve on the past too much, but that previous round did bother me from KingZero. Not on a personal level, but we just have to consider that entire push is dependent off of utility. You throw your Grims, you vault in, you get the plant down. TYLOO didn't have smokes. They had 1 C4, and the Thatcher was on the rappel. I just do not get why KingZero simply did not go for how that strategy is meant to be played. Whatever the way, though, the cost has been paid, and now it's a round down here. TYLOO can end it off still with a 4-2, which would be a respectable finish within this first half for the defense. KingZero, I'm just trying to get themselves a new entry, though. It's going to be this bottom floor, which they've had troubles with in the past as well, especially towards their execution. Early parts, not so much, but they still have a lot to clear with, and definitely this pulse would be a beginning step.
It'd be a nice little start here. But the snake on the hunt here. KZB going to try to hunt down what he can find, identify someone on the first floor, realise his second floor admin is clear, could go for the hop in there if you want to do so. It's going to be quite an extensive clear out here. It's going to have to be here for this offensive. So you've got players all over the map right now from TYLOO, and then more importantly, when you go to push them, you've got Like on the pulse underneath with that C4 in back pocket to just give it a little bit of explosive spring in towards the action there. So a lot to do in short amount of time. Global utility like the DoKV going to come really handy here for making those quick make decisions, because you're going to get that information off the sound cue more than anything, and you can see it already how quick they're gaining ground.
This is a really good roam clearage, but KingZero, that isn't only going to be that. Also, Momo finding the opening towards Abby. Going to remove a very dangerous player and operator both, as it does seem like he's trying to push up towards Spiral, but there's still plenty of KingZero attackers up there that are ready to clear you out, holding out on these angles. And in the meanwhile, the upper floors have been cleared here. TYLOO are now sent back into their own site.
Yeah, they got no more options right now. The C4's been burnt from Like. There is one in the back pocket of Hoy to be used as an option there. But the hatch is being opened on up. Vertical making its work. Right now, it's just going all to plan for KingZero. Plenty of time to try and convert this one on through. Hatch will be opened up. TYLOO, though, on the flip side, they could just sit patiently knowing they've got the objectives to fall back on now, and they're ready to play for it. Though there is one back server a bit further away that could disrupt status quo. That's kind of coming here.
The Demos heading downstairs, drone in front, ready to refrag utilities well. Vendetta being reloaded. The final rough minute now counting down as the attackers are ready in positions. TYLOO as well. We still have Like constantly scanning about, gathering constant information. We have to keep in mind though, there's plenty of utility here. C4s as well just being chucked out of likeliness. But KingZero, as much as they've made hasty progress at the beginning, now towards the end it's kind of settled down.
Just settle down nice little quietly, but it's all just the calm before the storm. A little bit of a ruse here inside of this one. Smoke's going, utility to follow suit down there. Trying to challenge the player on towards yellow, but I don't think you notice the one's dropping in front of you. More importantly, the one that's dropped the kit right on towards the floor there inside the bubble of smoke. Defenders getting aggressive, but they have no clue, Puffo. They have no idea. They are able to find the kills, though. One goes back the other direction there. It all comes down now to KZB in a 1 versus 3 post-plant clutch situation. Unsure of where he's getting tagged from. Songler will find it, and TYLOO will walk away with a 4-2 split.
A pistol finish and a respectable continuation into the second attacking half here for TYLOO, especially considering their map 1 has been lost. They might as well make as good of an effort as they can on Consulate to bring it towards that decider, and a real good finish here. Even though the plant was down, it was down to KingZero making, or rather just in general towards the attackers, KingZero making a lot of mistakes. Yeah, I don't know where, I messed them up. DarkZero, that's a different team. We're talking about T1 here.
I mean, this is T1 technically.
And that is true. Or traditional T1. This is the first time we get to see Dark KingZero.
KingZero. I'm confusing you now on purpose. It all sounds just, all of these. It's okay. Yesterday we were doing. It was all gamers for angry men, and on quite a few occasions I was like, "It's angry gamers." That's not the org name. Don't worry. We've all done it. Names are difficult, especially first thing in the morning. Mitch, our producer, is whispering all sorts of dark magic into our ears. We are being silenced. We are being cursed. Me and Travi. We are. We're being very cursed right now. Buffett, what's your opinion on EML? We've got 45 seconds. Have you been watching much of the best league in the world?
The best? I've been loving CNL more. I won't lie.
CNL is more fun to watch. EML was boring the other day, so I went and made banana bread. Like,
oh, yeah, you wanted to talk about banana bread going into this.
I did, and then we got interrupted.
We did. That is just rough. But yeah, it's been fun. You know, I think we've been seeing the new roster, especially with now Shaiko and G2, Falcons with Joom. Both these two teams have been quite dominant. Rebels Gaming have been also putting out their name, which is quite interesting to see.
Good. I was, you know what, I'm going to put my hands up. I'm going to say I'm surprised Rebels made it. They were so inconsistent in T2 throughout the last year as Secret Academy. They had that miracle run inside of the Challenger Series. They did, that's when they finally felt like they worked themselves out. I'm like, great, here we go. And they've actually really impressed me in EML. Like, I've got to give them credit. They are by far my favourite team that's moved up through CL. I'm rooting for these guys. And while I didn't make the major this time, I've certainly got some hope for them going in towards the next stage. And I've got some hope here, Puffo, that this half continues to deliver. While KZR 2 rounds down there, that was their attacking half, so I'm not too worried about things just yet for them. I know TYLOO are doing well for themselves here to keep track for Consulate and get it over the line to take us all the way to a bank decider.
A bank decider. Haven't seen a good bank in a while, and I think these two teams certainly would deliver. Like you said, Travi, they will so on the second half as well. The Clash ban is something that we haven't seen, and maybe an operator that wasn't utilized to her full by TYLOO on their defensive either. Maybe they're just not a fan of that type of playstyle. Either way, though, bans on the attacker are going to be somewhat similar. Get rid of the Grim instead of the Glass. The Warden is going to be kept, though, and with the Glass now in play, TYLOO are going to waste no time further to pick him up.
No, straight on towards it. Oh my god, I want to see this from the other perspective. Just like, it's like a clown car. You just keep dropping people down the hatches, and then he's right there in front of your face. An unfortunate one there for KingZero. I just think not having the main breach open, you can only really drop through the hatch, and it just wasn't a great position to be finding themselves in. Try and get the defuse on down. Now they get to go towards the defense, and they're bringing actually what I consider a fairly default lineup here. You've got Tachanka, you've got all this stall-out utility, as well as the FNAT, not the FNAT, the trip connectors rather, to try and extend out towards Checker's side here. It's a good hold for the top floor, and I'm quite curious to see how TYLOO choose to deal with it.
It will be interesting to say the very least. I think especially because this is kind of a clash between utility that helps plant and clash between utility that helps deny that plant. This is kind of how this upper floor plays, although up until now it hasn't played into these two teams such as. I think it's one of the few rounds we're going to see it in action. But now we also bring along the Blitz, which I do wonder where we're going to be sending Songla. Maybe route down bottom yellow to clear a lot of this utility, apply a second angle from the backside of these defenders, or maybe clear out the bottom floor. Although we have to consider Songla is alone and carries the diffuser.
Balls of Steel on his own, clearing out basement diffuser in the back pocket. I mean, you know what? I've got to respect the passion. I don't know if it's the best idea in the world, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? It's unlikely anyone from KingZero is playing down there, but you want to have 100% certainty when doing so. That when you push into site, you don't get that backstab player from elsewhere. But it's that time game, right, Puffo? It's all about wasting that time and making sure not to spend too much of it on unnecessary things, I'd argue, like this basement clear. But straight up towards Yellow Staircase now. He's now getting himself back an impact in this round and go back on track.
There we go. Yellow has been taken. TYLOO still prepping up towards the office window. There's going to be 3 operators. I do wonder where the Glass is, and holding the Blitzes back. Again, is it going to be an office push that we've seen from KingZero quite a couple of times, albeit now with an extra layer of yellow. Smokes are being popped. We don't have direct counter because the Warden is banned. We have Shamikas and smoke canisters in our pockets as the defense, though, which would be the ultimate counter towards this push, although you still have a minute and 30 to hold out for.
It's plenty of time. It's good number of where to go here for the defense. Keep barricade destroyed by the DMR of the Glass nice and easily, but you've got to be careful. Fiber still has 3 of those in back pocket. Smoke grenade of Valkyrie ready to go on in now and playing behind the Glass. You've got to be careful not to peek that out here. Using the Blitz to charge on ahead here, swinging on through to try and find something to go. Kills going back and forth here. But TYLOO able to establish themselves a massive advantage here in a 2v4 situation, but suddenly they drop to the other direction. It's a 2v2 situation effectively right now, but the shield's still on the line. Stabilize inside of this one. KingZero, 55 seconds, but it just doesn't calm down yet.
Should have just kept it peacefully. And Leon, can he do it all by himself? Nope, a long shot that just does not connect. Hoy will deliver the last blow, and we have ourselves another round here for the attackers to claim as a far-fetched lead by the side of TYLOO, as they are now 3 ahead going on towards their attack. And this is an amazing beginning, continuing onto Consulate. We have to consider they're a round away from match point as well, so this is a real good spot for TYLOO to be in, considering they're up against series points. Fortress maybe wasn't theirs, but Consulate, it's looking like it.
That's where you want to be. You really want to be up right now. 5-2 on Consulate. You're on your attack, sure, but it's a great spot to be. and you can now, you know, start to think about bank. It's 2 rounds away, Puffo. Could we see it? Starting to lean. The answer to that one might just be yes, but it's a basement hold now coming in from this defense. Looking a bit more, yeah, and it interests me. KC have played much more default here. Like, this isn't very spicy. This is just very standard. You know, you got the hold out towards the main breach on the bandit. You got all of that time wasting utility on the smoke, on the Goyo. There's some intel operators as well. It's nothing crazy right now. It's very off-brand for the CNL. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, off-brand is a good way to put it. The Mozzie also being used. I'm actually really interested to seeing how that's going to work out. But for the Rome, a solid operator. Right now, KingZero need to lock the hell in, I'll be honest. I mean, they won Fortress with a very hard-edged effort. Consulate, being their comfort pick, is not going in their direction whatsoever, especially now on their defense, which is a bit of a struggle. We take a look at what TYLOO are bringing, and I'm just starting to feel a rush.
Yeah, you're looking at this, they might be trying to make a statement round it. I mean, you get 6-2 up, that's a good place to be. That's a phenomenal place to be, if anything here. Maverick just toying with opening up this main breach here, getting that sight line on in. But you could see it, Puffo, you might be right on the call there. They're all lined up, ready for this yellow push. As soon as this fire goes away, in comes the cavalry, and our KingZero going to be ready to stand up against it.
3 players in 1 corridor? This is a call for chaos. I mean, a C4 right in their faces would end up losing them the round, but they're willing to take the risk. Run into bullets as 1 falls, the second as well. That is 2 players unofficially gone. A Karatos in your hand to finish the job. Another one here for KCB, and TYLOO have thrown it all in the works just for it to crumble, as they have not much more of a resort.
That's okay, we're not doing that round again. It's simple as that one. You gave it a go if you're TYLOO. You're trying to make a statement, you're trying to make a bold claim, you're trying to put their mental in the gutter, thinking of getting a nice easy close out on this one. But KingZero, they're not fully asleep at the wheel just yet. They're ready and raring the fort inside of that one. Just a bit of shoddy drone work on the player, playing by that little radio that goes, you know the one that plays like the consulate jams? You know the one I'm on about?
Oh, yeah,
that one.
Oh, that is a banger. I listen to that while I need to go to sleep. It's like, it's such a good melody.
Yeah, that's like my workout playlist. Like, for like the one time a year I'll work out.
Dude, Travi's strong. Trust me. He may not look like it, but Travi's got muscles.
There's some muscles on all this layer of burger.
No, you picked me up like nothing at Munich.
You are half my size, my friend.
I'm as tall as you almost.
Yeah, but like width-wise, I'm like double.
But look, it's the... Shut up. You're strong. You're strong, Travi. You're strong. You're a big, muscly man in my eyes.
Aww.
Trust me.
He adores me.
Of course I do. Who
So
wouldn't? Let's be honest. But, Travi, I think we know where this round is going. TYLOO's going to win it, right?
Yeah, TYLOO's got a magic 1v5, 20 seconds left to go. Like, that's what, 1 kill every 2 seconds? No, 4 seconds, actually. You get quite a lot of time here. You can hear the player tossing and putting away the C4 upstairs. You know, bit of quick math there fails us, and maybe for this 1v5 situation, going to fail like here. Just taking an opportunity to have a bit of an impromptu tactical time with the team charged on in. Spots 1, can't quite find the second. KingZero close it out as to be expected there. Narrowing that lead held by TYLOO ever so slightly, but ultimately there, I think it's just going to be a round that you write off if you're TYLOO. You tried something funny, it didn't really work. Oh well, don't worry about it, just go next.
Yeah, a sack. Oh, I'm loving this view here from another perspective of the attack that went horribly wrong. Arky just running into nothing. Same goes for Songla, just hoping to find something through the smoke, but it was a mist. It was a fog, and it ate up all of them. The defense played it well. Both these teams seemingly loving this piano side, and who's to blame them? Again, verticality once it's at play. If the defenders are comfortable roaming, it's going to be a hell of a good time, especially when KingZero right now, with their previous round, can handle themselves well under a lot of pressure. TYLOO tried to catch them off guard, but KingZero, they had none of it.
No, didn't want to work. A bit tragic, a bit unfortunate for them inside of there. But we'll see what happens now as we head back to a bit more of a normal round here on towards Piano's side. now, which is typically your tertiary bomb sites, where we're going to lock in here for KingZero. Lineup-wise, traps galore, as you would expect to see. As for TYLOO, we're doubling through on the shields yet again. Blackbeard and the Blitz gonna be a namestay here in this region, and a namestay certainly here on cons.
Once more, oh, double shields here. I'm starting to love it. Hopefully, though, TYLOO can execute it quite well. Again, the previous round was a bit of a fluke, a bit of a jest, some may say. This one, not so much. We can see this being a lot more, I would say, well-planned, traditional. Again, you have the solid snake just clearing out all the ground, making sure that this upper floor is as checked as can be. Single window open. Again, Hoy, you don't want to expose yourself a bit too much now, do you? Arky alone on this... I'm really starting to... I don't know why, but it irks me to see a Blitz on the bottom floor alone with a diffuser.
It's a really weird choice, isn't it? But there's no one down there, so I'm kind of like, it's okay. But equally, if there was someone down there and he dies, that's basically round lost there off of that initial play. So, like, I don't know. I'm with you on it, Puffer. It's a little bit of a choice. It's certainly an interesting one, but he has gotten himself into a good position because of it, right? This yellow staircase so vital on the map of cons here, and you can immediately see where he's already thinking of, hey, I could just run into the bomb site right now. That'd be really funny, but you probably do due diligence first and clear out this top floor.
Top floor, but TYLOO, they're not doing it fast. They have a lot of information incoming from the smoke and a sledge rush. What are we thinking? Right next to sunset as well. A bright beginning here and a continuation as well, as it doesn't seem like TYLOO can find themselves a winning opposition. Abby low on HP inside that bathroom in impact. A Pokeball, and this Blackbeard is gone off the charts, stuck in a corner as well, and TYLOO can't do anything.
What the hell has happened in the last 2 rounds for TYLOO? They were looking so great in their first attack, and then all of a sudden, since then, it's just looked a little bit disastrous for them. But they do find their way back in towards this round here, a 3v3 situation, trying to make it a double with a DMR, but no. Leon has had enough of that one there, keeps the advantage going the way of KingZero. 3v1 situation now awaits the shield of Arbe, who is on a sliver of HP. He can get one, but no more than that. And with it, the lead tightens down to just a single round.
Well, I certainly can't say without a doubt that TYLOO have loved experimenting on this map. And now they're going to take a tactical timeout as well alongside with it. I don't blame them necessarily. I'm just hoping they end up trying to go back to square one, how they play their defense. Normally by the book, how everyone else does it, and it's no blame for them trying to be a bit more special, a bit more unique and catching their enemies off guard. But the way they're doing it is just, I would say, throwable.
Throwable. I think that's an apt way of describing that one there. TYLOO just firmly were in the lead there, but the last couple of rounds, I don't know whether it's the pressure, I don't know whether it's the humidity in the air, but something has just completely thrown them off their game the last couple of rounds. I thought that basement attack was a one-off, but no, they seem like they tried a similar thing there on towards that piano clear. It just didn't really work out for them. Now we go to the courtway ban point. This is where things start to get really interesting, Bob, because if KingZero could take this round back, they complete a 4-3 rotation, and suddenly it looks like they'll have a possibility of closing this series in 2. TYLOO really need this round to make us believe in them that they can bring it us on to bank.
Yeah, this would be 2 rounds now, one back-to-back by KingZero, as they head to the upper floor, which we haven't seen much from them, but again, the defense has been thriving on whatever side they've played, and it's not to them playing exponentially, it's mostly, again, TYLOO just making these very large mistakes. Again, the sledge rush in the previous round was unnecessary is a good word I'd like to put it as, although hopefully they end up maybe going for something a bit more viable. Now we're going into the next round, just by the pure lineup as well, it seems like TYLOO are ready to lock it in. Maybe admin side push is what we could be seeing incoming. As for KingZero as well, nothing out of the ordinary, like we said, the Tachanka smoke and so forth, although we're taking a look at this matchup, and again, TYLOO have to realize this is series point they're up against. They cannot afford to lose this, even though the playoffs are double elimination. Many teams, or I would say even all teams, would rather just continue in the upper brackets.
It'd be nice to continue with the upper bracket as well here for CNL. A big benefit for staying in towards this upper bracket is going to be you have that ability to go into phase 2 of the major. Whoever wins the match later on today will be staying in the upper bracket, will go up against all gamers in the upper bracket final. That one decides who goes to phase 2 of Major. All 3 other teams from the CNL go in towards phase 2. So it's going to be a very difficult one for them if they want to try and sell us all the way on it. And it's going to be important for these teams to try and stay alive here in the upper bracket.
Gathering information, TYLOO have been quite slow on some of their opening attacks. And like Trivy said, if you want to get to that second stage, this round, this map for TYLOO is in need. I have to keep it going, the struggle that is. But for now, TYLOO holding back. It doesn't seem like KingZero really pushing into them, because mostly KingZero is spread out throughout this top floor, just waiting for something to happen. It's mostly been the defense luring the attackers into making the first move, and normally it's the one that makes the first move which ends up losing.
They do lose. That's a very real thing, a very real opportunity right now here for TYLOO. Hesitation can be a massive problem for them. First Toxic Babe is going to pop, however, wanted to throw the frag grenade on up. Should find its mark there on towards the Banshee devices. TYLOO just slowly stalling on out here. Half the round still to play for, though. Not too much concern really as of yet, but ultimately here it's going to be just a difficult kind of sell for these next couple of seconds here as the Shumika launcher can continue to burn and deny this plant.
And continue for many more times in eons. Second Smoke Babe almost denied by the nade, just not perfectly timed. As now the shields are having a bit of a difficulty, or at least Sangla on this entry into the single door. Leon again with a shotgun up close is going to deny any operator who doesn't have a shield to confront him. As in the meanwhile though, TYLOO want to get aggressive, but again they recognize it's plenty of utility they have to work against, and the swing from Leon almost there. The down and finish onto the Monty. Elsewhere Abby falls, and a swing once more. TYLOO just can't find themselves a winning gunfight. It's all crumbled once more, and now all these players, all that's left standing of them, it's gonna be Hoy on a window repelled, and without any of his comrades to support him, I think this is another round KingZero will claim dominantly.
Dominantly is the name of the game right now for this KingZero side. TYLOO hop towards the roof, Puffo, and this cues impromptu tactical timeout for a moment where they just get to sit, have a chat, have a think and a wait, and just see what goes on. You give away one, sure, but ultimately I think that's all you're going to give away, probably.
Oh, we've seen a 1v5 before. We're going to see it again. From bottom floor to the very top, it's been KingZero just absolutely standing on business. Winning 3 rounds in a row is certainly an achievement, as not only evening it out, but now at the position of holding match point within their grasp. The following round is successful. We're heading towards this bottom floor. This is where we saw TYLOO commit to that very, very ambitious rush that didn't end up working in their favor. Now, we might just see them in actual action.
They might be springing into action here inside of this one. What could start to be now a very dangerous round here on the brink of regulation. All 12 will be required here on Consulate Puffo. But the big thing is KingZero with the momentum firmly behind them. And with that map 1 victory, they're 2 rounds away from confirming their spot into the game that could see them qualify to the Salt Lake City Major. Treacherous territory.
I mean, Floyd just on those windows for the entirety of the match. Windows is all he's seen this entirety of his attack, and rough standpoint here. TYLOO, I mean, they just can't break the streak. They've already taken a tactical timeout. Even then, it hasn't been shutting down KingZero, who continue to surge throughout this match. And now, yeah, by TYLOO's lineup alone, we can tell that they're going to go a bit more traditional. We saw the Ram and Twitch both, I believe. But this upper floor should be one of their priorities, but it doesn't seem like KingZero are going to be offering it up so easily.
They're going to want to fight. KingZero will want to just challenge, will want to be annoying, will want to be a little bit of a nuisance, should some say. In towards this round, we'll see what they've got to offer us here. Up towards the top floor, we will go, try to clear on down underneath. For me, I don't even know what needs to change here, Puffo. Ultimately, I think TYLOO are a little bit stumped on what they need to do. And ultimately, I'm kind of sitting there on the same, right? Because it boils down to just win your ones. But it's obviously a lot more complicated than that.
Some of the situations really have been win your ones, but as well, it's been TYLOO don't randomly rush through windows and into smoke. That's also a pretty good idea. If I was their coach, I would advise exactly that, because currently the defense have been smacking them around. TYLOO on this upper floor now. They've already made good progress. Twitch is clearing the utility necessary. Good information denial. We saw a couple of thorn traps now, as the bandit is cleared and criticality being established. C4 sent and shrapnel damage towards Like, but nothing more than a slap on the wrist.
Nope, just a little boop. Just a little slap there. Nothing more at the moment here. And it's a slow start towards this round, right? 90 seconds into it at the halfway point. No one's really taken any major damage yet. No one's been in a fight yet, but I've got a feeling that's about to change here on yellow. Sunset playing this rat bot inside of the Toxic Babe here. Having to be cautious of his behind, sure, but it's not scaring him away from taking this challenge with the shield and with the shotgun in hand. It's one that he certainly can try to win, but no. Called out by Songler underneath there for the first time in a while. TYLOO get an advantage.
That is such a good play. They lured the smoke up towards yellow, smoked him out, and gave enough distance to where the Twitch could enter from the bottom yellow door and where he was cut out from all angles. This is a good step by TYLOO, and if they want to reach that match point, just keep it going the way they have. They have yellow control, they have spiral control, all the control they need is theirs. Now they just need to commit towards this plant, push all these attackers downstairs, and have them start gunning down the defenders or what remains of them, since there isn't much utility. A C4 and Leon, but besides that, not much else can deny a post.
The biggest thing that could befall TYLOO right now is if they all just decide to drop this hatch and full send it. That could be a real big problem for them. Trying to challenge up onto the first floor. Now here comes Fiber springing into action. Momo Wings with a second as well here. TYLOO all drop down the hatch, but they're just dropping to their demise at the moment. Kit trying to hit the floor. Can the plant stick on through? Yes, it will go. But a 3v3 situation finds itself as Hoy gets one. Can they hold on in the post plant? Spot the blitz, he runs on back, retaking the top floor, sure KingZero, but you've given up the site, you now need to attack your own objective. That's exactly what they're going to seek to do.
The main breach is going to be escapeway goat. TYLOO have backed off, now given save ground and also reclaimed yellow. This is going to be a huge opportunity as going for the defuse. Double swing, is it being held properly? Certainly not, in a swing attempted here. Fiber goes punished, and now the mute. What a shot by Momo, but time is starting to run low. And where's your teammate helping you out? Still needs some support by KZB. His presence isn't there up until now. The blitz falls. KZB finds the last, but time has ran too low, and it will be TYLOO just finally finding a round back after so many have been lost.
Oh, that shouldn't have been that close, Bob. That shouldn't have been that close. That should have been a comfortable round for TYLOO, but they have to make it exciting for us. They have to make it a nail-biter, and we go on towards match point for them here on Cons. An opportunity to bring us to bank in the next round for KingZero. I think the coach there recognises it. It's going to be overtime or bust.
Or bust. A big 15 back-to-back, Travi, from Fortress to Cons. You're like, please, KingZero, please.
That big 45 rounder is calling to me. I could just smell this one being a 45 rounder already. And honestly, I'm here for it. Like, give it to me. Give me the big ones.
We were going to eat it up.
Nom, 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 nom. Tasty.
Another angle here towards the post, and the execution here, and like you said, nail biting here, swings left and right. Good shots from Momo as well, just to take out whoever was behind the blitz, but I'm a bit sad to say I feel like KZB acted a bit too late.
Yeah, a little bit there inside of that one, and I think they had the wrong idea as well in that one. I think they put way too much pressure on retaking towards the verticality. Sure, it was important, but TYLOO weren't really holding that in the post plant. Their plant situation was plant down on the basement and then run outside of that main breach. They didn't really have too much of an intent on holding that top floor at all, so you didn't need to send your whole team up there to try and retake it, because ultimately that's what gave them the space to escape in the first place.
It's a rough one, but now it's KingZero once more. Match point against them like it was in that overtime. Certainly don't like the feeling, but every time that pressure is up against them, they can use it to fuel the fire that burns brightly in them. That's how they made that back-to-back-to-back round comeback to a 5-5 inside this exact map. And now on the defense, Similar lineup, again, both these teams not really playing out of the ordinary, although without a pulse, like TYLOO are playing on their own defense, KingZero are not going to have the same, I would say, succession around holding Visa for a decently long time.
There you go. They're just laid back on it for now. Twitch going in this time in the basement, not a blitz with the shield. And the diffuser in back pocket, I like to see it. Is Twitch going in instead onto the basement? Just sneaking through, taking out some default utility there, just reducing the intel network that you can find yourself with the defense here on CODs. Yet again, though, it's going to be all about clearing this verticality, right? Puffer, you've got an extension on towards the top floor for the defense. You need to chew through it if you're attacked, and it's going to be the Montaigne one tasked with pressuring them on the ingress.
Oh, did he just miss? Fiber rotating right in front of his very eyes. It certainly seems like it. The Goyo now backs off towards this upper hold again. We have 3 defenders standing still in TYLOO. They're being slow about this push, which doesn't seem to go in their favor in any bits.
Not at all. You just got to wait there for the Banshee to shake on through. You got to find a way to destroy it, but instead it's a rotation opened on up. No, just a drone hole. I take that back. It's just a little drone hole to pop the drone through the wall and get it on. Drone ahead of this Montaigne. I do have to wonder though, Bob, where is this attack going to actually be coming from? Hoy starts us off there with a pick on towards KZB. Now, finally some proper pressure being placed on towards these top floor players, but is it going to be enough here? You've got 45 seconds now for your TYLOO, and their conversions have been shaky to say the least.
This is really good. The attackers have went from a vertical take, left only one attacker upstairs, and sent the rest remaining to a horizontal push, meaning they still have layers above to challenge out, but Hoy ends up falling. He has wasted time. He has diverted the attention of these defenders, though. Fiber ends up taking him, but the plant is going down, and it seems like it will be stuck on through. A lot of pressure, can't find the monster inside the smoke, and the Babes won't be able to deny him of finding the post either. Songla with a beautiful shot. Fiber returning downstairs to deliver some action himself, but a 3v3 right now, and TYLOO just need to hold it down.
You hear the hopping on the player close to you here. If you're Lee, you know he's there. You can hold him in checkmate, but ultimately, if you want to go, you need to swing. But he's jumped out the window in the meantime. While KingZero, they've re-established control of the objective. Do they have enough to deny this plant? You're stealing it. You're defusing it. Hello? Is anyone at home? A frag grenade will deny it finally, and gets the second one to follow as well. It's all down to Lee, and this one's not done. We're going to be going on towards Bank Puffo as TYLOO take their opponent's map pick.
It is time for Bank. We went almost for the big 15, but by the end, a single nade in the last second ended up denying KingZero of their glory of going into the last overtime round. And just like that, I mean, it was cutting it mighty close, but KingLoo, or rather TYLOO, I'm mixing up my names. It's way too early for this, but TYLOO, and, I mean, they're kings after that performance. Even though they had a really rough beginning into their attack, I think they made up for it.
Yeah, they do. They made up for it in the end. They had that little bit of a rocky period in the middle, but ultimately by the end of it, were able to stabilize. And more importantly, I think for TYLOO, they were able to close it. That's something that's been, I think, avoiding them all series long, hasn't it, Bob? Struggling to close those really important rounds. They've finally done it once. Can they do it again on our third map? Bank is outsider coming up after this break. And welcome back on in, folks. Map number 3 of our first series of the day is going to be required. Bank between KingZero and TYLOO is going to be needed to decide who's going to be moving on towards our upper bracket semi-final later on today. More importantly, who will be moving on to that major qualification game that they will play this afternoon. I'm still Travi, that's still Puffo, I think. I don't know, you kind of turned into a singer halfway through the break.
Oh, don't tempt me to do it again. I'm going to use my heavenly voice to cast or curse this match. But no, I mean, the previous match was great. The first one as well. Travi, we've been going overtime back to back. And this has been an exciting day of CNL as we continue on to the third one. Now, Travi, like you said, there's high stakes on this match. I mean, it is map 3, it is Bank, and, well, both these teams, they really have to give it their all.
They're really going to have to give it their all here. 7-5, narrow margins yet again on Consulate, but TYLOO just able to lock it in at the end of their attacking split, courtesy of Like going absolutely nuclear throughout the entire map there, is going to be the reason why they find themselves 1-1 in this series, and they got an opportunity to settle their score on Bank. As for KingZero, they were in the back line, but they had some good rounds, had some good showings there inside of Consulate, so neither team is out of this battle yet, Puffo. This one's even grounds, and effectively now comes down to this best of one at the end of the series to see who's going to be going onwards in the upper bracket, who is going to be knocked down to the lower. It's not an elimination game, but it's a game with massive stakes on it nonetheless. So let's get into Bank and see who makes the major qualification match.
Bank, such a beautiful map. It's large but plays nothing similar as to the previous two we've had. We take a look at the predictions, and this time TYLOO are in it to win it by 5%, or rather 10% over the likes of KingZero. Normally it's been KingZero who have been the favored. Now the turns have tabled. Now let's see how true the predictions will be as we head into Bank, our last map between these two. And, well, Travi, we're gonna have to see who the best team truly is.
We are. Our chat, on the other hand, actually favours KingZero ever so slightly. 53% of you in our chat here are voting for KZ, and the other 47% going the way of TYLOO. So it's a split opinion, and you know what, Puffo? I think that's right on brand for what this game is. This is a close game. This is one that, honestly, I'm not happy to call who's going to win yet. Both these teams have had good moments. Both these teams have had some funny moments. Neither one is firmly ahead of the other yet. And Buffo, what do you think? Are you on the fence with me? You're not going to commit?
I'm not committing. This is way too close. I mean, we've seen map number 1 go to the big 15, the second one almost into overtime as well. It's been too close for comfort, and these teams have been constantly swapping between making large mistakes and perfect plays. Again, the constant exchange of rounds and back-to-back wins, especially from KingZero on that 3-round win streak when they were on their defense on Consulate, it just makes it so unpredictable. And that's why this is the perfect match we wanted to see to kick off our morning for the side of EU and the UK. Over towards the CNL side, it is getting a bit later into the night, so these players are already woken up pretty much till their max. And now we head into Bank. Now, Travi, I haven't seen Bank in a moment, I'll be honest.
Oh, I love a bit of Bank. I've not seen it actually in CNL yet, so I'm really interested to see how this plays inside of this particular league. I know it has been played a little bit inside of the group stage. It was played twice, I believe. There, it leaned itself to be a very defender-favoured map overall, with like a except top floor. Top floor actually leaned very attacker-sided. Actually, I'm looking through the stats right now. 75% of rounds here on this top floor side, Puffo, went in the way of the offense.
Yeah, the attackers have a lot of availabilities of how they want to push this. You want to go square, you want to go banana, you want to push main stairs, windows, even a Cali all the way in parking lot or on the lobby side of things. There are so many capabilities of you accessing site without needing to clear a lot of ground, because bottom to top clear isn't necessary here. Normally, if you have a post, yes, the attackers will usually get rid of them, but that's a very situational case. Over here for TYLOO, they can just open up windows and boom, they already have site access.
Indeed they do. Nice and easy straight in towards the site. It's the nature of this one, right? You can get into the windows. Spider-Man Rebel here as well, available for Abe, just to try and see their way on down. Entry in through ATMs, the standard, the normal you could expect to see here on this offense of the Bank. They want to deal with these echo drones that are being sporadically hidden throughout the map here. You've got 3 of them now, especially. You can afford to have one a bit more aggressive in a bit more of a risky position, because ultimately, oh no, it dies. You've still got 2 on the objective, 1 for either bomb site. So options available to you here. As for now, it's just going to be going through the notions for TYLOO here, working out the weak points of this attack and deciding where exactly you're going to want to start.
It's also down to KingZero on how well they're going to play these power positions. Normally, when so many windows are opened up and easy site access is given to the attackers, you have to hold positions such as janitor, such as top main really, really carefully, and make sure you have them established for as long as you possibly can, preferably also even into the execution. Early clearance of utility here, as we see on Songle, going to get rid of those mirrors and smokes all around, so maybe KingZero might already have to start counteracting the attack, because they're making good progress.
They are indeed here. I'm really waiting for KingZero to kind of decide to spring into action and go for something decide how they want to play this one, using those lance projectiles from the Kali to just take out utility, make things harder for this defense to hold on to here. It's a good start so far for this attack, but as the timer trickles on down, it starts to become a little bit of a stalemate almost. Momo on an off position down towards blue, trying to catch if any backstabs come in that direction. But I don't think KZ are entirely sure where this push is coming from yet. And that is primarily because TYLOO haven't really attempted anything. It's Mirror in a world of pain here behind in Janitor, really trying to escape, but somehow narrowly she's still got her life and back to the position she held.
Half HP gone, smokes and flashes now expanded, the last few pieces of util being thrown by the attackers. 3 players on Repel, this is going to be a dangerous swing in, and if Banana is being held, even more so. A C4 from below is going to take out the Osa, that's the first one that bites the dust, but the rest are going to need to follow in those footsteps because 10 seconds remain. Good shot by Like, he's able to get himself on that default, safely behind a desk, but a shot down here by the attacking side as they're maintaining not only man advantage, but keeping the final 2 defenders outside of sight as Like shuts down one more, and all in the hands of Sunset, and I don't think this one's going to be blooming for much longer.
Opened up like a book there on the side of KingZero. So many walls, so many sight lines in for the attack. And at longer range, these weapons are going to excel here. An impossible 1 versus 3 awaits poor old Sunset now, who's trapped in a corner here. Wants to try and go for something, does find the first on towards Like, but that's just a commiseration kill more than anything here. Flashbang's thrown on in. You've got about 10 seconds left. You can pop the key barricades on the window. Sure, try your very best to isolate the player inside a square, but it's not going to happen. A little window left uncovered from the Repel. Abe will close it. And with it, TYLOO off to a first good start round there.
Solid beginning. Even though the attackers did struggle for a moment, again, once that Osa was gone, you kind of think that the defenders should have an easier run with it, but just the disposition of defenders throughout that upper floor was kind of not, I don't want to call it horrendous, that would be a bad word to describe it, but it wasn't the best. I mean, we had the Mirror and Janitor, then there was a smoke on the other side, while the rest of the defenders were scattered around the side itself, just way too far away. I mean, for the Echo, I can understand, but the Tubarao, the Azami, everyone else should have played a bit more aggressive, especially on Banana. Yes, you probably have the Kali holding you, but when people are repelling into site itself, you need to act. Otherwise, you're going to have such results.
Down on towards the basement we will go now and see what these teams have to offer us on the depths of Bang. Bringing a lot of fire, bringing a lot of smoke is the name of the game in this site, right? Puffo, for those unfamiliar of it, this is where server position is where a lot of plants will come from. And it's basically, oh, you're trying to plant there, here's some fire, here's some smoke, here's some more fire. You do not want them getting the plant down because it's another very difficult retake for the defenders if it does hit the ground. So using all of this denial utility is going to be the core game plan here for the defense and try to make sure that TYLOO are unable to get that one on the ground.
I mean, look at this. We're bringing the big Russian man. It's going to be a fuse. Now, normally,
fuse shield.
Again, for top, yeah, it is a fuse shield, which, again, I wanted to talk about. The Monty, the Blitz, they're all great, but the one thing they don't have is the cluster damage that the fuse brings on this verticality. I mean, if you want to play around hatches, the fuse can open them, but more importantly so, it can also deal a lot of destructive damage to Goyos, to Fenrirs, to F-Nats, and Thorns, and you don't really need to get active with it. You know, with the Twitch drone or a Flores, you would kind of need to lead the drone to the utility and then destroy. With the fuse, he just lets it rip.
Speedy clear as well here from the side of TYLOO. I do like what I'm seeing. Already got control of open admin side. There's one player in elevators, one in blue that you still need to try and dislodge, but with how easy the rest of the defense folded back, I don't imagine it's going to be the hardest thing in the world. Send down the cluster charges, open up the hatch, very ahead of schedule here on the side of TYLOO, which is a very good thing considering how slow they were at points on the previous maps.
Player on top blue here, a dangerous aspect that all defenders should normally rely on. It's going to be the smoke. So if you want to push yourself into the side of servers, you will need to clear him. It is the smoke, however. He has those environmental canisters. He has those smoke babes to keep himself sound, but most importantly, the shotgun as well. Up close on that distance, it makes it almost impossible to fight against unless you use a shield to force him out. And a lot of information is being fed. I mean, the drones are just being sent towards a mission that seems impossible, as one smoke babe set up a second one as well. Rather just a lot of utility around these top blue stairs, and I mean, TYLOO, they can't find a breaking point.
Disable the smoke, toxic babes there, so that you can push it up. There's a Razor Bloom caught off by that one as well. So this Fuse cannot push in safely, just beckoning this smoke to come on a little bit closer to get a piece of the action and get his head ripped apart from the cover behind. But here, KCB having absolutely none of it there. Pops off the next toxic babe as well, doing a great job to stall right now. And what was an attack for TYLOO that was on path, of course, exactly where it needs to be. Now feels like we're starting to fall a little bit behind here. And speaking of behind, Momo right behind Server, may be able to backstab side of this one. Razor Bloom downs 2 of them somehow, and that's another couple seconds it's going to take Buffo to revive them.
It's going to take a lot of time, and they still have Momo to deal with now. And Uzi, a single bullet to 2 of these players, and it's going to be a story written till the very end. KingZero right now holding all the positions they need be, because TYLOO have only 2 entries. It's going to be Hatches, and it will be Server, so all their options are seemingly running low. A good shot by Momo. We didn't clear Server. That's a big oopsie. One going down main. An entrance gone wrong. Shamika's to claim another, and it seems like TYLOO, even with all their efforts, just can't find a way to enter in successfully with Fiber, shutting it all down then and there.
It's a oopsie not going to Thorns there, because he was death marked. There was a death mark on the Fawn. The Deimos activated the hunt, saw the Fawn, immediately called it off because you're not challenging, you're just trying to work out where she was. She's behind Server, you make that call, and then the rest of the team just forgets conveniently that the Fawn's right behind Server, and then she goes and shoots 2 of you guys in the back. Was it going to be a winnable round by TYLOO anyway? No, maybe not, but that certainly was one that put your chances straight into the depths. So really good response from KingZero there. Nice 1-1 scoreline. We head towards tertiary open area now. They're just trading that back and forth rounds again.
There were also micro inconsistencies by the attack as well. I mean, they just threw 2 drones at the smoke for no reason. I don't get it. Normally, you want to, at least if you're going to drone, right, check if there's any utility supporting the smoke, or while he's shooting the drone, swing. Those are the 2 options you normally should take. The attackers kind of just threw utility at him for no reason, and then of course the Thorn incident, which we will refrain from speaking of right now. And by the end stand, I mean, KingZero, they handled it well, even though it should have been around from TYLOO. By the end stage, it was not, and now KingZero are gonna go off to their tertiary objective, not once more going to that upper floor, which was very uncomfortable. I think we can agree on that, both, Travi.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a comfy one. There it can be, but we'll see how things unfold here. Top floor extension here for the defense of KingZero. That's going to need to be cleared through first, especially if Like's going to want to get on this ram and start to put those boogie drones to work, as you would kind of want to see from them. It's just an initial start here, already lying up inside a lobby here. Sunset on the front line as well. I've got a feeling KingZero, they want to play this round very aggressively.
Yeah, right now the Monty's already going to be an opening signage of it. Has the diffuser drone on lobby to make sure he's clear to push forward. While the openings are being made, KingZero themselves, I mean, they're extended deep. And it seems like TYLOO haven't given them much of an opportunity to fight. But even though Hoy is trying to clear some good long angles to hold around this main and the elevator side, KingZero are just going to back off. All the players from the defense have backed off, and seemingly TYLOO should now be easily able to obtain this upper floor.
It was what they did in their basement round as well, just a couple of minutes ago. KingZero, they have that extension, sure, but they don't really play him for it. They have the players out there, but as soon as the pressure comes, they're like, nope, we're out of there, we're gone. Don't even want to bother to try and contest with that one. I do like the idea. Oh, Curry taking a lot of damage there on from the Razor Bloom. Got to be careful of those, because already you're on the Montaigne. That's half your health gone, and one of those C4s licking their lips right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That makes the 2 of us. One of them will not get detonated. Momo, sadly, doesn't have much use of that C4 while the hatch is being opened up. And TYLOO, they have upper control. KingZero have backed off, but like you said, still plenty of utility to work around. And even this Legion on main could be a thorn in their side if they do not clear him correctly. With TYLOO, the mistakes have been that they've taken it for 2 little angles. Even though they've won out the first round, as we can recall, they took it only from windows and square. That second round was just about the same. And again, they go very 1 or 2 dimensional, but they have so many other options.
There's ways you can work around this one here. There's availabilities for you, but with 45 seconds to go, how long are you reasonably going to have to exploit these ones? Cowan Hive's down in towards the objective now. Soliton Scanner spotting these defenders. Can you make the moves if you're TYLOO here? You've not got long to make them now. You're going to have to push for it. Songler really wanted to try and challenge on towards KZB here, but not going to be able to find the pick. No. Puts it 30 seconds now. This attack's going to have to push. They're going to have to get aggressive. Do they have the right tools to do so?
Flashers out, deadly rotation around Archives. You need to be wary of it. Double drop here, and it seems like... Oh, Abby can just fight off Leanne as another falls. The swing from the Legion goes successful. The only one that KingZero have ultimately found, as it's Momo left alone in sight and alone for the taking by the hands of Like. Another round for the attack, and even though they were very limited, they won their ones, and ultimately this is a game of FPS.
Perfect shape up there from TYLOO. Things we love to see. Just a slow, steady pace through the map, get themselves in towards an execute ready position, and then bam, hit the hammer straight down on towards the nail, execute out the round there. They secured a lead here on their bank attack, and I could certainly say, Puffer, I think they're looking a little bit stronger here on towards this decider map at the moment. Much more convincing than they have been so far, and I can really hope that this continues out through the half, because if we can get an advantageous lead here, they're going to look really good going into their second defense.
Yeah, they're going to look solid. Concrete, and again, TYLOO, it's a great beginning. But this next round might be another one for the taking. Again, we've seen KingZero, they're not really comfortable when being approached from all these windows. They easily expand out and give ground too easily. It's been spotted in all three of these rounds. They kind of just allow TYLOO to have the ground they want. And on this upper floor, that is the largest detriment that you don't want to be doing.
No, it's not at all. Oh, you just don't want to be doing it. You really just don't want to be there. Like, no, I'm good. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Top floor. What happens? What happens here? If we got a mirror again? And I'm curious to see what TYLOO decide to do with this one, because the last time I felt like they just kind of opened up everything and then just walked on in and the angles worked for them. But it's so, like, it's so 50-50. It's honestly kind of crazy to see what happens. I'm looking forward to this.
Last second 6 pick onto the Nook by Like might be something worth watching and paying attention to. Especially Nook can... Oh, normally I'd expect maybe Like could start crawling from the bottom floor up, snatch some kills from main stairs. In the meanwhile though, TYLOO gonna keep it ordinary. Kali on this lobby side just applying a couple of bits of pressure, opening up holes as they want. Although this is not seemingly the same push, Travi. I mean, we see Avanti, Havana, different direction.
No. Different direction, same success though. If you're TYLOO, you're hoping at least. Certainly. Going to be opening up the Kanto elevated position now, try and catch the player out should they want to make the move. You've got the Kali there to hold the long angle as well. But temporarily at least going to be stalled out by the Zodo canisters there. Some of the pellets will go, but all of them. Just the rest will just have to kind of wait a moment there. Let's give Leon an opportunity, but I don't think he wants to make the move.
Kali approaching the side directly as well to get rid of those mirrors. Sunset being added to this lineup with an Azami, which would be a great counter to keep yourself in a steady position without being cleared. Again, Kiba barriers are a good way to reconstruct the site and give yourself some extra coverage. Hopefully Sunset is going to put that to use. In the meanwhile, though, it's a similar pacing as always. But this time around, it seems like Like has snuck into the backfields of Momo, found him, and we just had a bit of a zoom there towards the towards the top left.
We have a built-in ACOG scope for the feeds. Did no one tell you?
No one did, but
see, these defenders need the ACOG scope back because like 1.5 meta crutches and all that, so we just put it back on the clean feed for us. Very nice. Very, very kind. But no, Like doing a really great job there, backstabbing on the Nook, doing his job exactly, because it's given TYLOO a free pick that, more importantly, KingZero have no opportunity in hell to respond back to. They've made that pick, they've done their job, and now they can just back on away and start to look at how they want to push into the site here. On the upside down rappel is going to be Songler, watching the angle out towards the round rappel here. Just got to be careful not to shoot your own shield in the back, but 2 quick kills coming in from KingZero. They take the advantage back inside of this one, and the flurry of away. It's a 2v3 situation now.
My goodness. All of a sudden, KingZero strike back stronger than ever. They've only lost 1 player in the past couple of seconds for the exchange of 3 attackers, as the Monty now needing to step up, use that pistol, hopefully get a kill. Low HP on KZB as he repositions, brings it closer to the Monty, and a C4 here that should be good for the job. And left alone is going to be Hoy, who has some players on low HP. Well, what does that matter when you are out-angled and simply taken out by the mirror once more? Now an equalized score once more, and, well, it seems like we're in for a good match.
We're in for another good one. I mean, would it be... you know, it sometimes happens, right, Buffer? You get to these series and you get a really good close game, You get to the final map, and then it's like, bam, 7-0. One team's just really good at the map, and the other team's not. I don't think we're going to have that here on Bank. I'm glad we're not going to have that here on Bank, because that would be boring. This one needs, like give me another round 15. Give me another maximum overtime. Yeah. Give me another, like, everything's hitting the fan. It's a 50-50. We don't know who's going to win. Give me more of that. Down towards the basement. Last time, KingZero won this one pretty convincingly, so I'll be looking to TYLOO, particularly in this round, to see if they can right the wrongs on it and really pick back up the slack, because the last time it just wasn't up to par. But the defense, they're innovating. Puffo, you know who I'm looking at.
Yeah, what exactly motivates a person to play Oryx of all operators? I mean, the hatch hopping might just be in the meta. What do we know? The CNL could be in a whole new level and aspect, but look at these shots by Fiber. The fact that he took that congestion, even with a Monty in front of him, it's just balls of steel from the player. And same goes for KZP here, throwing a C4, playing aggressive against the Monty. It's initiations like these when players step up that make the individuals KingZero needed inside that previous round. Now, if they're going to do that once more, we're about to find out, because TYLOO have a lot of mistakes to correct.
They have a lot to work out here on towards this attack, and maybe their solution lies in the simplest of answers, and that is going to be, Bob, double shields. Because of course it is, it's CNL. What else would you expect? When in doubt, bring more shields. And if that's not enough, bring more. At that point, you've got the Kebe in the line for the quick roam clear, the Thinker to support your execute in towards the objective, and then, of course, you've got the double shields, which you cannot go amiss in this lineup here. So it's going to be hard for KZ to try and deny this one, but it's all going to be about this roam clear. And more importantly, I think this time they're looking to entrench their positions a little more. They don't have the easy fallback not playing next to the hatches, so it's going to be hard for them to really find themselves forced out.
Even with drones all around the table and information lively being fed through, there's still a bit of an aggressive congestion at the side of KingZero. We're going to hold their ground, a bit of a backup, but look at TYLOO just bypassing all this roam and trying to push themselves through the bank hatch and down towards main stairs. But will it go their way? Sunset has found another. The fire has claimed its glory, and all of a sudden TYLOO have been ripped apart in their own strategy, as it's like Involved standing alone, taking shots and damage, now surrounded by 5 very, very hungry KingZero players, just boosting himself up with that adrenaline surge. But Diffuser still a long shot away from home, and we're gonna need to swing here. The nade does claim the enemy, but by the end stage, it's all it claims.
Magic C4 appears out of nowhere. C4 go boom, finds the Thinker. Yeah, that's a tragic one. That one's gonna have to sting there, I think, a little bit there for TYLOO. That was such a dominant round, such a quick one as well, and ultimately the most one-sided round I think we've had so far here on Bank, as KingZero now will take the lead here on this one. Just a really good defensive hold from them, more importantly so, just a showing that TYLOO I just don't think are quite up to the task of attacking the basement, but that's okay, because they've been doing well for themselves elsewhere so far.
Yeah, I would consider Bank a bit more attacker-sided in my opinion, but I guess we're going to have to see this going into the second half, because KingZero right now are extremely comfortable. It's TYL, or TYLOO rather, just in general, testing the waters. It's similar to Consulate. They've lost a lot of rounds because of it, and they're once more losing rounds because of it. I like the fact that they're trying to catch KingZero off guard, but as presented and emulated plenty of times before, KingZero, they can work under this pressure and they react very fast.
Yeah, they don't mind the pressure at all, and that's such a good thing for them. Especially when we look ahead, towards the later game today, major qualification on the line there. It's going to be really important for them to be able to have that kind of a lock-in ability and not let the pressure get underneath your skin. And we've spoken a bit about it before, right, Bob, where having this LAN format is really good preparation for the teams that are going to make the major, because they're not going to be scared of being face-to-face with the guys they're playing. They're prepared for it. They're used to it by now. It's just another day in the office for them.
That it is. No doubt there. Poi has been loving these lobby angles. Just nicely cut off the rotations around elevator. And again, this main hallway on the upper floor is a huge cutoff for anyone trying to roam above. Meanwhile, though, KingZero just sipping on their hot cup of coffee, enjoying their life, and roaming as they usually do. Heavy damage, not as much, but still plenty towards Leon as he's able to escape the fire for now. But a bit of aggression towards the direct push on site by TYLOO. Just make a bit of presence known with their utility elsewhere, though. It is going to be lobby once more, which TYLOO have been really persistent in going lobby almost every round.
They do like going through the lobby, don't they? They have to make a front entrance. These guys like to make a statement on their way in. I'm here for it. Yeah, especially send a shield for it. It's very much a honey, I'm home type vibe. I'm absolutely adoring it here as they make their way through bank up towards the top floor. Now clear it on out, no one up here to contest. Ultimately, Throw just, you know, going along with the motions and decent pace to say the least as well.
For now, fighting Ghost, TYLOO going to push themselves towards Archives closer and closer. We have to keep in mind that's where a major rotation into the site remains, at least if the setup is similar to previously by TYLOO, or rather by KingZero. Although TYLOO for now, as much as they have gotten this upper floor, as much as they've realized KingZero again have stepped down from this roam, it always becomes most difficult on site entrance. That's where TYLOO have the most difficulties.
Yeah, it can be a hard one to really crack on through there. Oh, just kind of 55-second mark here outside the bomb site. TYLOO, they're going to be holding the ground very well here. They're not really, you know, pushing too much as of yet. That's going to need to change quite quickly. The Montaigne now coming down the white staircase, ready for it as the vertical opens on up here. Drone sent in towards the objective, identify where these defenders are hold. But the problem is, because you've not been able to get anything on this clear, every nook and cranny has someone hiding inside of it. It's going to make things very difficult for you. Flashbangs go in towards the objective. Now, the push to come.
Look at the smokes, look at the flashes they've all been thrown, and it's an all-or-nothing Hail Mary by the side of KingZero that they're going to have to defend as one shot goes against them. That's going to be KZB to fall. Sunset returns the favor elsewhere, but still holding their ground. It's an attempt by the attack, but not a valid one at that, as the Monty and Ram are the final two standing. Information on where they are still there, but post-plant at the very least that they certainly can use to their advantage.
Yeah, the Montaigne just getting ganged up on his own down there. The Ram deciding to go outside on towards Printer and then back up above as well. But it's going to be read into exactly what she's doing. She's not going to be able to stand up to it there. Beautiful retake from KingZero to hold on to the line there. More importantly, get themselves out of that one with the advantage. 4-2 split, Puffo. Exactly what you want on the defensive side there of your bank. And KingZero looking very good going into halftime.
Yeah, going into this halftime, KingZero, they've proven quite strong even on this retake. Post-plant doesn't seem to affect them at all. They're going to keep on swinging with all their might and glory. Sadly, though, by the end stage of that round, the Monty was kind of left standing alone. I mean, a 1v3 gang up while the Ram was trying to rotate upstairs just left the Monty in a bit of a difficult spot. He tried backing off towards the side of lobby or main to at least cover some ground and give extra time for the Ram to rotate above, but, you know, it seems like KingZero is just a bit too fast.
A little bit. Just a little bit too fast there inside of that one, unfortunately for them. So, now we get to sit on the halftime break, Buffo, and this is always... I don't know about you, but I'm loving this addition to the game. Being able to just sit at this halfway point and chill is great.
I hope we get to see it everywhere. Just,
yeah.
This is good. It's a good way to also... Of course, a lot of the times there's plenty of stuff to talk about in Siege in general, especially this matchup. I mean, the attack side by TYLOO has been two-sided, is a way I'd like to describe it. They've either played... Now, normally everything's two-sided. You either win or you don't. But TYLOO have either played it extremely, I would say, over their boundaries, such as the rushes they've been committing, such as them just sending out Hail Marys, or it's been them actually committing to well-designed ideas, such as this one. I think this round had a well-designed idea from them. They had the verticality, they dropped down, multiple angles, lobby, ... But by the end stage, they just couldn't hold themselves together because, again, the pressure they held over the site itself was inadequate.
It was very, very inadequate. And as the players finish what they're saying to their coaches, get ready to lock in now for the second half of the game here. Attackers become defenders, vice versa as well. Unfortunately, Puffo, it's the only thing with being in a non-English speaking region. We don't get to take anything from these tactical timeouts. It's the only region with listenings, but it's also the only region where it's like, I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, unless we learn Chinese in a short time span, right now in a couple of seconds.
There's two teams.
Yeah.
There's two teams that do have English-speaking coaches. They're actually French coaches that have then gone... The French guys have then presumably gone and learned English, and then one of the guys on the team translates from English to Chinese. everything the coach is saying. It's actually quite a fun dynamic to watch, but then it's nice because we can actually infer what the coach is trying to tell to the team. It gives us a good point as well to kind of discuss it all. But we discuss about these operator bans, fairly standard ones here for Bank, on towards the top floor for the primary, which is interesting, Puffo, because normally it's basement first, but both these teams, they like this top floor.
Yeah, they have been liking this top floor, and it is quite curious for me as well. I think KingZero are going to be liking this pick. What I am wondering about is why both these teams have been refraining from main breaches. You know, over towards Bank, even on the bottom floor on open area, you tend to main breach with a thermite, the triple wall. Or on this upper floor, you tend to main breach with a thermite, the main wall down below in servers as well. There is a lot of ace and thermite action normally in Siege, but between these two teams, they've kind of refrained to it so they can focus on the outside aspects, such as windows, such as lobby, and of course getting actually into the site, which fair enough to them. For a certain amount of time has worked for TYLOO, at least those 2 rounds that they've claimed. For KingZero, I guess we're gonna have to see how they work or wrap themselves around it.
You're gonna have to give it a real big one. How they go. I mean, this is my favorite thing about a new half, right? It's an entirely new way of seeing these teams, and while it's, you know, especially for us here as casters watching them for the first time on these particular maps, on these particular sides, it's quite fun to see if there'll be any little like innovations or maybe just quirks there coming from the respective teams and what they choose to bring. Out here though, for the attack of KingZero, it seems like it's going to be fairly normal. Up towards the rappels, play it from the roof a little bit, and just try to create some sightlines in towards the bomb site.
As always, of course, everyone, oh my goodness, we have like 3 DMRs. Even maybe if we consider Fiber's Huntsman Rifle a DMR as well. We have so many strong guns on the side of the attack as well. But yeah, talking away from the point of guns, I mean, the utility side of things is quite standard. I am also liking the Nomad pick, which is always welcome. I think you can never go wrong with a Nomad, but in this specific situation, you can hold the entirety of square by yourself. The main thing here as a Nomad is you hold these footholds and you have a great angle throughout both the sites. You have like a cut-through rotation you can hold, and I think that is something KZB might be looking to expand upon, but for now, he has to keep himself safe and at least secure the janitor side of things.
You gotta be careful here, especially when you're quite on your own at this early stage of the round, and the sightlines haven't been made yet for your team to even trade you out. If you go down, you're going down fairly uncontested here. The Thatcher of Sunset starting to do its work here. Utility Capital bolts in hand. We're just gonna see an early push in here from KZ, Puffo. I think that's exactly what they're gonna look to do, but no, the Shamika's gonna stall out some of the windows, but it's not stopping the hopping. Momo is down on the floor, planting. Can they cover it?
Oh no! The fire damage from the Shamika is just going to be too large, Travi. Fiber gets a couple of kills. It's good for the attacking side since they still have plenty of time, so picking up that diffuser and going for a rerun is not impossible. But right now, TYLOO, the response was a bit poor unless they had those Shamikas, which they no longer hold. The Tachanka has been exchanged out. This second run of an attempt from KingZero is going to be rough to maintain.
Going to be a very difficult one here to try and maintain for themselves. Now, granted, they've got a man advantage, which is something to work with, Puffo. You know, we can give them their dues. They somehow were able to salvage that bit of a mess of a situation into something that does work into their favor in at least a man count regard. But do they have the ground? Do they have the territory here to be able to seal this round out? Thatcher takes down those trip connectors there, so the Denari's ground isn't so safely held. But the long angle by Songler with the DMR on towards the square walking means the attackers can't commit, but they will commit to a hop in towards the bomb site now. Charging on through, unaware of the one on their right, though. Kills going back and forth. All things equalised inside of the server now. KingZero, though, they're split. One's inside the building, one's outside on rappel. And TYLOO, on the other hand, are comfortable to sit in their bomb site for the final 10 seconds. Tucked inside of the corner. No, they're going to fall on down. Leaves it all up to Songler now. Long angle on the DMR. He lines them both up, shoots them in the head. And that is why these ACOGs are so nasty on the defense.
A strike by the Tubarao to close out the round, and what a dramatic finish. I mean, for the moment, it was looking a bit rough on the defense. Again, they relied a bit too much on those Shamikas for the moment given, but by the end, they just held, 2 angles and won the round? Quite miraculous, but hey, the defense getting TYLOO are now going to be about a round away from KingZero's current score. This upper floor was successful, and again, the push, the very, very vivid Russian. The first attempt here was shut down successfully, the second one more so, because 2 players is all that TYLOO apparently need. But, I mean, KingZero maybe just positioning themselves a bit better. The final 2 players both on square running into the same doorway at the same time. You gotta secure yourself some more perimeters.
Songler got like 4 kills from that position, 3 or 4 kills now. But how do you not know he's there and he's been watching that long sideline? Like, surely at that point you know. That's the kind of round, I think, at the end of the day, Puffer, where if this one doesn't end up going the way of KingZero, it's like another 8-7, they're going to look at themselves back, and that's the kind of round you kick yourself for at the end of the day, right? That is a winnable round. That shouldn't have gone that way. Credit to Songler where it's due, but KingZero you shouldn't be losing those.
No, you shouldn't be. And I guess that's just another thing to take into account going into the following rounds, but KingZero, they can afford to lose a round or two as for now. Hopefully they don't make these mistakes later on once TYLOO have the availability of surpassing them round count-wise. So we head to the very bottom floor. This time we're not going to be seeing Smokes and Shimikas, maybe Goyos as well. Rather, TYLOO are going to rely on one post-plant denial operator, and it will be the Echo low.
No. That's it now. How do we deal with the Echo? I mean, I love the Echo. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Echo, he's honestly, like, that third Yokai drone has just breathed so much life into him. Because that's you can just play one aggressive and it's a lot more fun as an operator, plus it's also quite useful. Now as well, when he's not been identified by the Deimos either, so his little hidey hole where he's going to be playing with his drones all game, he's not going to be spotted out. Instead, it's going to be the death mark on towards this castle here, who will pay the cost of his life there. Hoy is shut down early. KingZero, great start.
Oh, that's some turbulence. What the hell? Fiber locks down those shots and not even a chance given to Hoy to fight back as the castle removed, but now KingZero, they can continue. Another spot towards Like. He's getting scanned twice by the Lion and the Headhunter. Right now, the Demo's just above, kind of lurking the rest of this attack as well, and bad timing. Oh, Momo just has to feel bad. Looks away from that head hole and ends up falling from the exact same one. Although down, but not fully out, Zongla has applied extra pressure towards this attack. Is an attempted push here. Defender standing in a mute jammer, meaning the scan isn't coming through, but the Vendetta and bullets surely are. Now the Demo's track continues, and he eventually hunts him down.
He does indeed. It does indeed hunt him down. Really good, just slowly peeling back right now for the side of KingZero. And they may even be able to get this revive onto Momo just about in enough time. They're going to go for it, see if they can pull him on up. And that will be, I think, a nail in the coffin here for this round for TYLOO. Unless they can pull off a miracle. It's 3v5 Puffo. In comes Songler, the hero from the previous round, charging up the staircase on Echo nonetheless is Abe. And it's a 3v3, and I think we found our miracle.
I think we found our miracle. A comeback rising once more. Momo finds one, but not the second, though. That's going to be set to fall in return. 2v2, but look at the playstyle difference here. I mean, TYLOO are still on this upper floor, applying much pressure, and KingZero, if they want to get themselves to site, they might just need to ignore, but it seems impossible since they hold no case. Pings are coming around line. It's such an annoying thing to deal with, constant information just looking about, and now both the attacking players hunting down what remains. How the hell do we get away with that? Like, we'll shut it down, and what the hell did we just witness?
I'm not sure. Honestly, Bob, I am not sure what the heck we just witnessed inside of the server there, but TYLOO certainly are going to be happy with it. And I think KingZero, as you can see, looking at each other a little bit puzzled there on exactly how that one slipped away from them. It was going perfectly. You got a 5v3, you've perfect roam cleared, and then all of a sudden, it all just goes to hell. It just goes to disaster strike situation there. And honestly, I don't know where this game is going to head from this point out, right? It's starting to get to the end of it. We're starting to get to that trail down a bank now. And what occurs in these next couple of rounds will be definitive for the outcome of the series. But still, at 4-4, I can't call it.
I love the difference between these two teams. As we saw KingZero on the defensive, they easily gave up ground. They kind of just contested TYLOO on the attacking side for a couple of seconds and then backed off towards their site. TYLOO is the complete opposite. They say, you know what, we've got that dog in us, and we're going to bite back stronger than you ever could have. They're going to contest not only the Deimos, who has taken out 2 of your players already, but they're, even after losing 2 defensive players, they're still going to keep the majority of the roster on this upper floor to contest for open area. And I have to respect that dedication. I'm hoping TYLOO keep this type of playstyle because KingZero, even though with really good early beginnings, haven't found a way to counter it.
How do you counter it, though? That is the question. I'm really struggling to find the ways in towards this one and how they do it in this round. It's going to be paramount for them, because I think for KingZero, This is a do or die round. You lose 3 in a row. You're suddenly, that advantage you held going into the half is gone. Panic stations start to settle on in a little bit. Might be a good time to then call a tactical timeout, I think, at that point. Go into it with a quarter break, you get a bit longer on it as well. It's a really good opportunity there, but ultimately things are going to need to change. And we're off to Deimos, on towards the Solid Snake now. Bringing out the FAMAS, bringing out the Solid Scanner, and a great one for clearing, because look at that Interval already being fed to him.
Positions of 2 players settled and set, like in taking small bits of damage as a retreat around stocks, but KingZero still hesitant to get themselves inside. They recognize that if they do end up jumping into this window, there's still probably plenty of utility waiting for you on the other side, such as Thorns, such as FNATs, and God knows what else. So for now, you want to play it safe, but keep in mind, the position of Hoi here, the Grim Beast do not spawn him, and I wonder if this is going to go overlooked.
It might just slip over their heads there. Solid Scanner letting him move up forwards a little bit more aggressive, but instead it's Hoi to find the first, as you said, Puffo, KZB, but immediately he is traded back there by Leon. Good response there from the attack, and now they can start to look to play this vertical as well with the Buki drones, the Ram, get to work. All things that you're going to need now, but ultimately, it's still a 1-for-1 trade here. It's not worse off too bad for either side.
Have that verticality you can capture. No doubt there. KingZero do have the upper floor, yes, but they're looking down into all this utility they need to clear, and if they want to have themselves a consistent amount of information flowing through, there's those mute jammers. The TYLOO overall certainly hold the power position in their own site, because not only is time running out for these attackers, but also the positions they can hold. There's going to be a major rotation through archives that hopefully TYLOO don't let slip on by, and Solid Snake is really nicely feeding all this constant details of where everyone stands, but now KingZero have split themselves up, meaning individuality is going to be the name of the game.
One player can make all the difference. It's something we've seen time and time again in this series. It was Songler just a couple of rounds ago pulling off miracles with the DMR, and no doubt someone here else is going to be looking for that exact same kind of success. 20 seconds left to go. Flashbangs down, straight through the hatch. We're going to have to go here, but are they going to be able to hold on to it? That's the question. Momo finds a double inside of the round, follows up with one there from Sunset. It's all up to Arbe, but that's the Echo. That's the one that can deny the plant. They're going to try and stick it down. He can't cover it from up above. The Yokais, no, they can't get there in time. It's now going to be a post-plant situation for this final defender in a 1v2. No choice but to drop the hatch. It's telegraphed. It's going to be known. And I don't think KingZero are going to want to forfeit the lead they've gotten just as of yet.
Information is there, though. Abby, pick up that bearing 9 and go for the long shots. Both final players are low on HP, but there's a cross that Momo holds, and it will be a round finished once more. That was well played there. KingZero, they tried to do their best, but I mean, the attack were just really, really solid from the beginning on out. They cleared up the upper floor. Hoi's position was instrumental, I would say.
Yeah.
In the end, though, I feel like Hoi kind of panicked in the moment. He went for the vault towards Banana, then saw someone repelling, was mid-reload, knifed, and died. Probably one of the most comic deaths we're going to see in this entire matchup. Although KingZero are now going to get themselves in the lead. The attacking sides will be kept ahead of TYLOO for one extra step. This is an important round because TYLOO are going to be bringing out a clash.
Go past the ban point, then bring out the clash. You can't get rid of her beyond this point. Big issue as well here that I'm worried about now for TYLOO, Puffo, is going to be the fact that what you look at the last round this top floor site was played. They only won it because Songler went crazy. Songler was one player out of a position who had an insanely individual impact inside of that round there. That's what I've heard.
Wait, do we
Watching
see
this from the other side, yeah, that's tragic. That hurts. That could have been a double there, and maybe round changing. But ultimately, yeah, here inside of this one on the top floor, it was close last time, so I think KingZero will be quite comfortable attacking back onto it. It really does this clash from TYLOO do enough to make it more of a strategical win for them the second go on it.
I do wonder if they spotted out the clash, because the Deimos could be a good counter. We've also seen the Kallian play on this upper floor, which would be a fantastic way to counteract the clash, but it doesn't seem like KingZero are going to try and pick up on that, rather just focus on their initial strategy and what they had intended since the beginning. Now, the Iranian play as well is going to make these entries through rappels a bit more difficult. We also have the castle combination, so it seems like TYLOO are back to the traditional bank playstyle where they want to deny these window openings for as much as they can. But KingZero as well now going for something. Both these teams are going for a bit more traditional because we also have main breaches now in play.
We do. Main breaches are available to them there. Open up towards the elevator point. So anyone hiding there will be spotted up. No one though is playing at that position, I do believe. 60 seconds in, you got the Deimos down below with 5 defenders identified, and he's going for the biggest bounty of them all. He's going to be going for that clash, and if he can find her from underneath, that will be a massive blow towards the defense of TYLOO. So it's going to be in their best interest to just keep her out of his line of sight.
Gotta be careful of aggression from lobby side. Could end up costing you a player or two if you're not careful. While the Deimos still hunting and lurking down below, seeking for any victims he can find. Also scouting out information in general. Right now, as much as KingZero have certainly gotten around to ticking off bullet points from their checklist, such as getting the main breach, gathering square, not much has been done. I mean, TYLOO, I don't think they feel any pressure at all.
No. There is no pressure, there's no substance to this round right now, ultimately, I feel, from this attacking side. And just as I say that, that completely changes. Five is able to find one back the other direction. 4v4 advantage held now by this offense. You can play from the windows, try to force these players out of position. How do they want to play this?
There's a lot of angles. I mean, KingZero, you have yourselves a lot of coverage, but you need to get proactive. I mean, right now, you're just kind of sitting ducks, waiting for the defenders to step into your own field, but that's not going to be happening. KingZero, I don't think this is the best action, the best course to take, but for now, it seems like they're going to stick through it, and the breach is still around. We're going back to square one. A vault through here, flashes and smokes. Let's see how it works.
Old-fashioned way, but straight down to the graves. You will be sent there. That's going to be Hoy taking down the big player. Sunset falls. 30 seconds though. It's still a bit of time for KingZero to recover, but they're going to need to do so quickly. They find the important one. They find the clash. That could be the opener into the side of this round they need. Abe tucked into a corner. Hoy hitting the ground. This one's going the way of KingZero right now. They need 15 more seconds to hold the line here and try to get this defuse on the ground, and it's looking more and more likely by the second. Like finds one, sure, but that P10 Roni has not got a lot of ammo in it, so you're forced to pull out the pistol into this 2v1 situation. You see the one beside you, but he flicks onto your head. We'll get the round. Match series point for KingZero.
My heart was racing for a moment, Travi. We had a down Deimos on main stairs. We had the Capitao with no clue running into Janitor, almost a victim. And in 3 seconds, this could have converted into a dangerous 1v1. But KingZero, they locked it down. It was a bit chaotic considering the case was cold inside this site, so they had to forcibly rappel in. But without the clash, the defenders needed to just kind of raw dog it. And by the end, they found nothing. It got close though, it got took the breath out of me, as we're going to be taking a tactical timeout on the side of TYLOO, considering they're on match point and series point, needing to win 2 rounds back to back. This is all or nothing.
It's a very tall ask for them right now for TYLOO. You can see it on their faces, Bob, and it's the beauty of the land, but also you can tell the pressure is on. You're on the back foot properly now in this series. The coach impelling his wisdom on towards the team. What do you do? How do you get this? All of this morning, you think we've been in this best of 3 for almost 3.5 hours now. You have been here for a good while. You make the comeback, you go to overtime, you play another game later today. Possibly you go to bed tonight knowing you attend the Salt Lake City Major. Or you lose and you have to wait till next week to go through the lower bracket gauntlet. It's a fate you really don't want to be finding yourself in. So for TYLOO, this timeout has to turn things around.
It has to turn things around, and again, they're on the defensive. This bottom floor might be their best chance to kick things off, considering this is what would be the best site that Bank in general has to offer. But as we're taking a look at it, I mean, KingZero, they've been good at clearage. We've seen them begin rounds off extremely dominant. I mean, this is a lot of pressure on their hands. I hope they can use Fiber to his max. Fiber has been doing brilliantly, by the way. On the Deimos, he's been hunting down players extremely successfully, finding strong shots. I do just have to call out players like Hoy on 3 kills, and some TYLOO players might be falling behind a bit, and I would want them to step up.
This is the time to step up. Big names, big hero moments will ultimately define you here in the CNL. Do you have what it takes to qualify on through? Do you have what it takes to keep this game going? Now, if you've got something waiting in the tank, now is ultimately the time you're going to want to bring it out. Top floor clear. In goes the Deimos, trying to hunt on through. No one up on second, but first floor will be defenders aplenty. You can already see it. It's got quite a few of them identified there on the death mark available to him, should he choose to go that way. But ultimately here, it's just going to be a slow peel back here for the attack, not getting over eager to really challenge anything.
TYLOO not extending and stretching themselves out towards the heaven of this map. Good spot by Momo. He might be able to deal some damage, but the smoke canister was popped that instant, so his vision was blurred. And now a drop, I would say unexpected here by the Deimos and the Grim alike. They do secure open area, and similarly, at the same time, one of the defenders backed off towards site, meaning we don't have much presence on this upper floor as TYLOO no longer.
Not anymore, they don't. They're completely gone from there. All but one now. Great position to be finding themselves in so early onto the round here. Plenty of time for KingZero to just kind of work their way around it. Sure, you're going to need to clear this blue player. That's going to be the smoke. That's going to be a very difficult one to try to challenge onto, no doubt. But ultimately, I think they've got good odds of it here. Hunting down the Maestro as well, your primary plant denial. You see where he is. He's all the way back deep. So he's not going to be something you can challenge immediately. You're going to have to go really far in if you want to deal with him. But ultimately, these Evil Eyes are proving to be a challenge, so you need to deal with them.
Securing your ground, drones being sent. Currently, KingZero should have all the information they need on where TYLOO currently stand. But the utility here might be overwhelming. We have 4 denial operators alongside a Tubarao to slow it all down. This is not going to be easy for KingZero as they are stepping into a bunker of utility. And even though they're going to have breaches to go for that default plant on the corner, it will be KZB to kick things off with Likes Live. That's the Tubarao gone, but we still have plenty more to clear out.
So much more to go through here. The Tubarao, like you say, Bob, first one to go on down, 35 seconds. Hatch drop being eyed up here. Player inside a server, Leon with the diffuser. Eyeing up plant inside a server. In come the RAU projectors, and as soon as the fire goes, they're ready to drop it. But everyone misses Abe there on the Shimika launcher. Those fires have an eternity of time for them, so you have to plant right next to the chassis off the default plant position. Luckily though, KZB has the cover. Has to be Fiber there with a second to fall, and sure, while the smoke, Kavaki, he combined 2 back the other direction. It becomes 2 versus 2. Kits hit the floor. 3K inside and around here for the smoke. Now, can they mount the comeback?
2v2 final attackers are going to be on this hat, so you need to play against verticality, but even in this stressful situation, TYL, you need to lock the hell in. One of the players might be rotating. Impact to get yourself an extra angle. Challenge head was spotted for a moment. Rotating above, it is being held. The shots from Arky need to connect either or that. Maestro needs to hold it down, and there's going to be a shot by Sunset and a finish by Momo. As it is KingZero continuing in the upper brackets. They will win Bank after winning Fortress by a hard, large margin. And successfully so. That was a dominant, and I mean really strong performance towards that last round. The fact that they brought it down to a 5v2, arguably almost lost it, but in the end they locked it down, and that's what matters.
That was everything you want there in a sort of a game or with these kind of stakes when it stayed the upper bracket. You can see the smiles across the faces here of the KingZero players as they go through. And while sure, I think TYLOO will be disappointed with how close that was. As you can see there's some smiles coming through that roster. They put up a good fight. They're proud of how they did, and I'm sure they will make a nice deep lower bracket run though. As for KingZero, however, Mr. Puffo Bob, their day is not done just yet. They get the victory here and they will get their bow on the stage. But one more opportunity later today for themselves, right? And if they win that second best of 3, they can qualify straight to the Salt Lake City Major.
And that's what we're fighting for, right? That's the main goal here for the CNL players. And TYLOO, I mean, they had a really good battle against KingZero. I have no doubt that they're going to be able to make a phenomenal bottom bracket run. But as for KingZero, if out of all the teams I were to guess who could make it to Salt Lake, they would certainly be amongst my list. They did a really good performance. Now, both these teams, they had their ups and downs, right? But like we said, I doubt they showed everything they have inside this one match because it wasn't all down to it. KingZero will later play against the winner of My Queen and Edward Gaming. So keep an eye out for that. I mean, it's going to be also an extremely exciting match.
That's going to be a really fun one coming up later today. Of course, we've got our other upper bracket quarter coming through in just a moment there. My Queen versus EDG. Now, this one, I think a lot of people said this isn't going to be the favoured, like the close game, right? Because you've got the first seed of Group B, EDG, versus the fourth seed of Group A, My Queen. On paper, this is a one-sided game, but we saw it yesterday, right, against the All Gamers Wolves game. That was a very close affair, especially on that border. So this one has some opportunity to go on through. The winner of that one will face TYLOO later on this afternoon. And Bob, what a series it's been to kick off our morning, right? Been a phenomenal start to the day. And honestly, I cannot wait to see where CNL goes the rest of the afternoon.
I'm 100% down to see it. I mean, CNL has been treating us fantastically from their, not only from their quality, which we have complimented the first cast we did for CNL, but also the fact that these matches have been brilliant. The fact that we're going into overtime on our first maps and all the way to map number 3. These aren't even the grand finals, by the way. We're just barely into the playoffs. So the action is about to be rising, but we're going to continue with the show and the next matchup as soon as we can. Just go on a tad bit of a short break where we are going to also have a swap of casters. So new faces here. We're going to be leaving you for a moment, and stay tuned because it's about to get only better.
获得了本场比赛的胜利，我们也非常荣幸的邀请到了 Fiber 选手来参与到这一轮的赛后采访环节。先和屏幕前的各位干员们打个招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是 KT 战队的 Fiber。
好的，咱们第一局就打到了8-7的加时，真的非常焦灼。当时在加时赛的间隙，队伍里是怎么进行心态调整、布置战术的呢？
就默默一直安抚其他人的心情嘛，就是专注眼前的这一回合，不要去分心。
哦，某某居然在队伍里面是这样一个小天使般温暖的存在啊！那么这场的比赛打下来，队伍有没有发现一些需要立刻调整的问题，为下一轮的比赛做准备呢？
我感觉我们队伍在取得优势时候会变得有点激进，然后防不住对面的 retake， 我们要针对这一点做出调整。
原来如此，调整好心态才是布局的一个关键。那么今天的这场对局里面，你们的干员的禁用策略是赛前就已经专注于 TYLOO 去准备的，还是说你们为了赛事的调整进行打法的调整临时改变的呢？
都有。我们在赛前也针对天路做出了干员调整，然后在局中的时候，我们会再临时改变一些东西。
原来如此，那么今天拿下了这场的比赛的胜利呢，也恭喜你们成功晋级了胜者组的下一轮。那么接下来呢，将要面对的就是 MQ 或者 EDG 的胜利者，有没有什么话想要对他们说的？
我觉得不管是谁到了我们这儿，估计我们都会赢。
不要，我们都会赢，我们一定会赢，好不好？对，要把所有胜利的信心给予到自己和自己的队友身上。好的，那么我们再一次恭喜 KZ 战队获得了本场比赛的胜利。那么精彩的对决还在继续，我们稍后赛场见分晓吧。
And here we are back again after a quick little interview. As already teased a little bit, the voices have changed. And I mean, you can probably guess my voice. My name is Dianic. On who do I have as a partner today?
It's yeah, definitely not Tiaki this time. It's it's CTHLOO on the microphone though. Yes, in fact we do return from the yesterday's cast as well, Dianic, and it's look, I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at that whole KZ versus TYLOO matchup, and I'm personally written it off as a 2-0 in favor of KZ, but look, TYLOO managed to really put on a show.
They did bring back the second map, but I will say throughout the whole 3 maps, there was a lot of inconsistencies from both teams, but a lot from TYLOO, right? Their attacks didn't quite seem fundamental. They had a lot of the struggles, and it didn't quite have a clear plan what to do, where to go, and it lacked variety, right? They pushed, for example, on the last map Consulate, they push up the yellow stairs, but there's no really backup. Then there's a sledgehammer going through the window. That's gonna create a lot of noise, but where is the noise being tracked to? Why is there no Grim on the other windows or Yincandela to mask those noises? Like, see, there's many different types how they could have constructed those attacks better. Then unless KZ was the team winning, that means they are now already in the semi-final, upper bracket semi-final. TYLOO finding themselves in the lower bracket final. And this coming game is going to decide which team is going to play against KZ.
Yeah, the upcoming match, as previously teased, EDG versus My Queen or MQ roster. This one is arguably, if before the before games weren't David and Goliath matchups, this one will be for sure.